Hey everyone, you're listening to the official podcast of 4PlayerNetwork.com. Check us out at that address for everything you need to know about our community, monthly giveaways, and nightly live streams. You can even support us on Patreon at patreon.com/4Player. And last but not least, you can catch the live recordings of these podcasts every single Thursday night on our Twitch channel. We hope to see you there. Enjoy. Welcome to 4Player Podcast. This is episode 639. It's April 20. Is it 24th or 25th?
23rd.
Damn it! Literally have no sense of time anymore. Anyways, welcome to the show, everybody. We have a good show lined up for you. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. My name is Nick Henderson. I'm joined tonight by Brad Simons.
Hello.
Nolan Hedstrom.
How's it going, everybody?
And Christopher Davis.
Good evening.
Good evening. How is everybody doing? How's quarantine life treating you?
Still alive.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm really, 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 really ready to get out of this house and not come back for like days on end, but that's probably going to be a while.
Literally today, I was supposed to go on a week-long vacation to Cancun.
Damn.
You're ready to get out of the house. It's an all-inclusive resort. I was going to be sipping booze constantly in a pool for a week.
In less than a month, I was supposed to get married and go on a cruise for a week in Alaska.
All right.
He wins.
Yeah, that's
fair enough.
This whole thing sucks. But now we're thinking about we're having our wedding on our actual anniversary, that like our current anniversary, like our dating anniversary, so we don't have to change the anniversary in November. We're cheating, but it's going to be great. Anyways, we have video games to talk about tonight. We're going to talk more about Final Fantasy VII Remake. We're going to revisit Animal Crossing. We're going to revisit Half-Life Alyx because Brad's been playing it. Brad finally got, courtesy of Nolan, got his hands on a VR headset and has been playing it. So we'll hear his thoughts on that, among other things. So let's get into it. I have some feedback from our last episode, if y'all are ready for that.
Okay.
All right. The Drunken Merchant says, and he says, no Final Fantasy VII story spoilers here. But this is Final Fantasy VII Remake related. He says, I love the remake and think it is a phenomenal recreation of the original. I do have a complaint and a theory about the battle system that relates to your discussion. His complaint is that attacks can be interrupted. This is fine, but does it also need to cost the ATB gauge and the MP of the move you were trying to perform? I think it's bullshit. I had that exact same thought this week because that's happened to me numerous times.
I agree. It is kind of shitty if you're about to perform an attack that was even 2 ATB gauges.
Oh,
and all of a sudden you get hit, and it's just, nope, you don't get to do anything now. You just took a 30 health damage, and you can't do any attacks now.
Yeah, and because of the nature of the combat being so action heavy and so fast paced at this point, like I spend so much time focusing on the action that I'm not looking at the ATB gauge. So I keep jumping into the menus, thinking that my ATB gauge is filled and it's not. So I just have to keep closing it out. It's so annoying. But
I was having a conversation in chat earlier with Chai and a couple other people about like that kind of process when you're in battles. To every once in a while just press X to pause everything and be like, oh, can anyone do anything? Well, no. Yeah. Fucking Tifa's done 2 punches since the last time I was like using her 45 seconds ago, so her ATB gauge is like a fraction of the way across.
Yeah,
it is frustrating. I hadn't played it last week when we talked about it, but I am very much on board with our conversation from last week that a gambit system would be more than fucking welcome.
Yeah. And that's that leads into part 2 of his comment. It says, his theory, considering part 1 is so materia heavy in its gameplay, I predict part 2 will implement a gambit system to make it more tactics based. With this, it may also give you the ability to have 4 characters in your party as well, but now I'm just being a dreamer. I mean, the interesting thing about this whole project, and this is, like I mentioned the Final Fantasy 13 trilogy before, but like, it seems to me like they're going to have to change up the battle system with each entry in the series, which could be cool. Like, it could give them the freedom to experiment with a lot of different kinds of combat.
Change up the battle system.
I mean, there's no reason that this remake couldn't have had characters in combat. It's just that, for me personally, I think the reasoning is that the level design for where the common encounters happen tends to be smaller arenas.
Yeah, for
only like in boss arenas do you like actually would it merit
have
a
enough
first person.
space.
Yeah.
I totally agree.
But
Brad,
Nick, go ahead, Nick.
I was just say the reason I think it would have to change up is I mentioned this last week in that because they blew up the Midgar section to such a big thing, like a big deal. There's so much materia in this, and you get so many different summons that by the end of it, it's just kind of like what's left for at least two more games in this.
There's a lot of
trilogy.
There was
spells and
so much summon materia.
yeah, there's a lot
there?
of spells and
There were
abilities that are
3
not
different
in this game.
Bahamut's.
I have
Well,
two
I know,
summons.
but like at the end, but there's still like I think there's like 8 summons or something in this game. I could be wrong, maybe even more than that. I'm not sure, but like it just feels like a lot of the materia you're getting in this first game. It feels like materia that I wasn't getting until like late parts of Final
A
Fantasy.
lot of it is.
No, that's accurate. I wouldn't be surprised if, Nick, like you were saying, similar to Final Fantasy 13, which was a 3-part game, that they change up the combat, the way the systems, the mechanics. The way
I think
things
that could
work
be
between
cool.
games.
I mean, if they keep
But that's
materia as
the
kind of
only
the
thing
base,
they've actually completed. You don't want to start over from square one again. They already have so much to do with the sequels. Leave the combat alone. Add the materia that's missing, which is a lot. Add a bunch of new material, which they did with this one, and go from there.
we'll see. It could go either way, but
They need to focus on how to do it on a big world with vehicles.
they need to focus on getting that next game out as quickly as possible because nobody wants this to take 10 years. All right, our next comment tonight comes from Slopdog. By the way, we will talk more about Final Fantasy VII Remake soon, so on this episode. Slopdog says, "Gonna be honest, in my state, even though there is a shelter-in-place order in place, nothing has changed. There might have been at first a reduction in traffic on the road, but any and all shops are pretty much open, including my place of work, which has about 40 to 60 employees on each shift, and the parking lot is just as full as it was. Movie theaters are closed though, so I do miss that." He says, "So the only restrictions to speak of are those you take personally and mentally. Whenever I get a hankering for some food from a restaurant or to go out shopping, I have to remind myself, even though there's a low chance of me getting the virus, I'd rather not risk it, especially since there are more than enough chances for me to spread it to my family. Mainly, I just miss the opportunities to go out with the exhausting fear of getting infected. Stay safe, guys. Much love and luck to all of you." Yeah, I mirror those sentiments exactly. Like right now, like I think I mentioned this before. Like we've been kind of in the habit for the past like year or two of just going to my parents' house and having dinner and watching a movie like every 2 weeks. I haven't seen my parents in like 2 weeks, and that kind of fucking sucks. And I would feel guilty, like even when they get to the point where they're like, "Okay, we're lifting the restrictions." At what point do you feel comfortable going again, like putting yourself around other people? Like some people are gonna jump at that and be like, "It's over," and that's the most frustrating
and
part.
they're going to get COVID-19.
I mean,
I hope. But for me, Bernadette and I were actually talking about it. I think we brought it up last night. That I went to go grab something out of the cabinet, and it's the cabinet where I keep our refillable popcorn and drinks from the Cinemark that's near us.
yeah.
It was literally January like 2nd this year. We went to see a movie and we bought the 2020 refillable popcorn and soda cups. Can't fucking use them. And I guarantee you, I maybe before this year is over, I might see one more movie in theaters, and it really just fucking sucks because last year we used them a lot.
Yeah.
And it's just like, nope.
You don't think they'll extend deals like that and shit? I mean,
dude,
well, at this
they
point,
are going to be hurting for money.
Yeah.
Because no one's going to movies because they're closed, and B, they preemptively canceled everyone's like subscription thing because why wouldn't they? They're not dumb. So they're literally making $0 right now. So I don't see them like refunding. It would be nice, but I don't see them doing.
Is it anybody? Maybe I'm weird in this way, but I'm looking forward to like when this does start to lift and we are able to go out and kind of do things again. Like I'm excited to like reinvigorate the economy. Spend my money. I feel like I haven't spent money in ages. And I feel like it's gonna be nice where it's like the draft house I keep talking about. Like I can't wait for the draft house. It's like I can't wait to give them my money again.
Well, that was so Master Pancake Theater. Like I think I brought it up before, but they're doing Twitch streams.
Yeah,
a couple of times a week. They're restreaming some old stuff and then doing stuff obviously live while stuff's going on.
And have you watched a couple of them?
I've watched a couple. Bernadette and I watched Predator last Friday, I think. She had never seen Predator before.
The first
we
one.
watched it. Correct, the original Predator. We watched it. It was pretty good. But one of the things, they have like a PayPal, and they're like, hey, by the way, if you want to PayPal or Venmo us, like, please, like, because 100% of their income came from fucking doing live shows at theaters, and now they can't do that.
Yeah, it's interesting seeing the way people and artists and whatnot are finding to pull some money in at a time like this. It's crazy. But yeah, thank you for the kind words, Slopdog. We'll right back at you. Stay safe. Thorax has our last comment tonight. He says, "Hey guys, you better be careful of not playing Final Fantasy VII Remake too long. You run the risk of turning into shit. Oh, this is a dad joke. Turning into Genova Witnesses. If you do,
I appreciate it. I like it.
Also, fuck.
That's
fuck
not
those,
even a joke. That's not a dad joke.
What would you call a joke? What? Not even a joke. All right, fair enough.
A bad attempt at a pun.
There you go. Sure. He says also, fuck those don't trend on me protesters who want the country open. Yes, I completely agree. Fuck every single. I can't even believe the stupidity of people out there. Anyways, that's all we have for comments tonight, guys. If you want to contribute anything or ask any questions or have any comments based on our discussions we're about to have tonight, just go to 4playernetwork.com, find the post for this episode, and leave us a comment. We'll read it and respond to it at the beginning of the next show. I also want to remind people before we get too far into it, Discord. If you haven't yet joined our Discord, please do. It's discord.gg/4player. If you're new, make sure you stop into the introductions channel and say hello. We'd love to hear from you. And also a reminder, I'm going to be hosting a special stream on Saturday. That's in 2 days. I'm participating in Days Gone week. If you've been watching my Twitter feed pretty heavily, I've a lot of Days Gone on my stream.
Are you? You like that game, Nick?
I do like that game a lot.
I never would have known.
Chris Davis was kind enough to help me put together a video for it, so that's out there. But yeah, I'll be doing an all-day stream on Saturday starting at noon. I'll be playing New Game Plus for the first time and playing on the hardest difficulty. There's no HUD. I'm very excited about that. It's going to be interesting.
Really?
I'll also be giving away 3 copies of the game throughout that stream. So if you are interested in checking it out or have thought about playing it but haven't done it yet, your chance to win
Am
a copy.
I eligible to win a copy?
No. You are ineligible. I will not be giving you a copy. Yeah, I have 3 to hand out. They're physical copies too. I will mail you a physical copy of the game. So tune in. Again, that's going to be 4pp.tv Saturday at noon. Actually, if you're listening to this on the first day of releases, it's today. It's probably happening right now.
Make sure you give away all the copies like relatively early in your stream. That way,
don't you
people
fucking
all day long will be asking, so what about those copies? And those free copies. And
Days
you
Gone.
can only say Days Gone.
Days Gone.
Days Gone.
That's actually pretty
thought
brilliant.
you were going to reference like some event that I missed before I came on, but no.
Dude, I thought about fitting that joke. I thought about
Beautiful.
fitting that joke into my video, and I opted not to do it.
Days Gone.
Days Gone. But anyways, Chris Davis, thank you very much for putting that video together for me. And yeah, it's out on YouTube and Twitter and all that stuff. I'll be streaming on Saturday. So with that said, let's jump into it. We have games to talk about and revisit. We talked about Final Fantasy VII Remake last week. I do want to talk more about it, but I feel like I want to check in with Brad because he's finally playing Half-Life Alyx. And I am very interested to hear what you have to say.
Nick, I know you seemed a little sad that I didn't get to hear your opinions on the game.
It's not even about
over the weeks or whatever, but I do intend to go back and listen to those conversations. I'm curious though, what was like between the 3 of y'all? What was the general
consensus
sentiment? The consensus, I guess.
I think that we were all very, very impressed mechanically speaking. How what's the word? How tangible everything is, or what's the word I'm looking for?
No, I think that's a good description. It's just the fact that we've seen VR in the past, but this is at a next level. It is extremely impressive how detailed the world is, how you can physically walk up to anything and read it, interact with it. When you go to grab something, you feel like you're actually grabbing it. It's not like when
That's a weird effect. Like
yeah.
that's so crazy that
Just
it
the
makes you
force
feel like you're
feedback
holding
or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, I do wonder about. So, I think the game is excellent from what I've played so far, for a lot of reasons. Just VR reasons and Half-Life reasons, right? There's a certain atmosphere or whatever that a Half-Life game has, and this game has it, and that's really great. I do. You say the thing is, I don't think any of us here have really played all that much VR. I've heard some people like who do have played like fucking every VR game under the sun, like PC VR games, that a lot of the stuff that you're seeing here has been done in other games.
Sure.
It's just sort of like it's like it's that Valve polish, right?
No one is saying that it's 100% original. It's just a situation where they've taken things that A are new, but B have been done before, and I don't want to say perfect them, but greatly improve them to a point where there's so much polish on it that it is just astounding.
I also feel like a lot of things that have been done other places have not necessarily been done in conjunction with like the first person free roaming, or like I think about like the ability to like pick up like clips and like pop it into your gun, eject a clip, or how handling a gun feels very realistic. It's something you may see in like games like I'm
I've
thinking
seen a little bit of that before.
I'm thinking like Super Hot and like what may not.
Yeah, that's very arcadey.
Super Hot and Pistol Whip and things like that, where they're kind of on rails, but you're handling a gun in certain ways like that. This brings those elements together with like just the free form, environment exploring.
I do have a question for Brad. What settings are you playing the game on? As in, how are you moving?
Well, so here's the thing. I was so I'm doing the little dash, but I've done it with the blink as well. But
have you done it
like
with the free
I feel like
move?
with capturing footage, it is it's easier to follow. So the thing is, I was playing this in front of Malia, right?
Hold on.
And if you play with the blink, it's very hard to follow.
I'm not talking about. I'm talking about. Have you tried it with the free move, where you physically just walk around the world?
Yeah.
And is that how you're playing, or no?
No, it's not playing. I'm playing like this.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't have the footage up. I'm
sorry. Okay.
I don't watch our footage.
I got you.
I can pull it up real quick though.
Okay, that makes sense. No. So I started off with the blink because that kind of gives you the most control. Just like magical Alyx Advance, you can teleport around and face any direction you want, and it feels really good. But it's it can be disorienting for viewers. And Malia could barely even like follow what the fuck was going on. So I switched to this zip to kind of instead of a blink to where you're going, and it's you don't have as much control.
Have you tried out the free motion where you're literally just walking around with an analog stick?
I just don't really want to play it like that because I've gotten kind of motion sick from stuff.
So hold on. So that's what I wanted to bring up is I have played games where you move around like that and it gives me motion sickness. This game does not. That's one of the things that I'm extremely impressed with, because I was worried at first that I was going to get motion sickness. And I will say, if I do 100% full motion, where I'm using the right analog stick to just like pan,
do you still click the turn?
That throws me off. I click the turn still. I click the turn, but I use that walking like free motion. And like I brought it up a while back. But what was this footage? The other VR game that starts with a B. Boneworks. Dude, I can't play that game for 5 minutes without like.
Okay.
There's something about Boneworks. I started playing it again this past weekend, and yeah, I was still getting that.
Give it a try, Brad.
I will try the free motion, but I feel like it also puts you at a disadvantage in terms of like combat.
You can still blink though. You can still do that jump to any point you want. You can still do that.
Oh, wait. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm missing it. Like, why would it give you? Why would it put you at a disadvantage?
Well, do you see what they just responded with?
Because if you physically
I
have
assumed
to, like,
I assumed
walk
you
from
couldn't
point A to
blink
point
if you're
B.
doing free motion.
No, you can.
Which means if a zombie's right. So what I do a lot in this game is, I'm out of ammo. Instead of fiddling with my gun a foot in front of a zombie, I'll just blink the fuck out of there and then reload my gun and then re-engage. I thought I couldn't do that if I had free motion on.
They have a lot of different options where you can kind of mix and match and make it, the free motion can be kind of combined.
Well, so how do you blink when you're just walking around?
So the right analog stick, when you pull it backwards, that engages the blink.
Yeah.
Okay, so one of the reasons I want to talk about this is to kind of look for recommendations for that stuff, because I've been very much, no pun intended, in my own world with this thing. I had not been reading or listening to conversations about this, and I'm sure if I did, I would have probably picked up on a lot of like, put this option on, put this option on. But most of it's just been kind of me having to experiment with that stuff. One of the things that I find a little frustrating is this footage is trash. It just looks like me looking at the floor.
That's a problem with VR in general. It can be tough.
But the thing is, I know there's like a mirror mode option to where you can pull it up, what you're seeing on the screen in other VR, which is in general for the Oculus, right? And there's settings to adjust the field of view in that. But when I turn on Half-Life Alyx, it does a spectator mode automatically, and I don't know how to turn it off. Because I can't fuck with field of view.
I think there is a way to change. So I will say I haven't done it extensively just because I never captured footage for this, but I know there are some spectator settings in Half-Life Alyx that you can change. I don't know what they are. I remember seeing them because I spent actually in reality, I don't know. I don't remember how many hours I played this game for, like 16, something like that, whatever, however long it took me to beat it. I probably spent a good like 30 minutes in menus trying to make sure I got everything right and playing for a while and like trying this out. So I spent a lot of time in all the different menus. I do remember seeing one thing for that. I will say Steam does also have its own hey, what is the VR showing right now view? You might be able to capture that as well. That might be
but it's the will I be able to tweak the field of view and all that stuff? Because this is trash.
You should.
Is this what it looked like when Nick streamed the game? Just kind of like looking at the floor a bunch?
Wait,
or is it because I'm tall? I mean,
I guess I don't understand why you're saying it looks like. I mean, I know the footage is like you actually looking at the floor, but why are you looking at the floor?
I'm not in VR. I'm not looking at the fucking floor.
He's looking straight ahead.
This footage makes it look like I'm looking at the floor.
Okay.
Brad, maybe in reality you are kind of looking down, but since it's the Oculus is right on your eyes, you can still see straight ahead of you.
What's the kind of thing where you move your head in VR? It's like you're just moving your head. When you're looking at the spectator mode, it's like the whole fucking screen's moving. And when I do stuff like there's a zombie in front of me, and I kind of am tilting my head down to kind of look down the sight of the gun, which you do a lot in this game, obviously. In the spectator mode, you're just cutting off everything above you, right? Because you're tilting down to look at the gun. And in the world, you can see everything, but as a viewer, you can't see shit.
Did my stream
I'm actually
look like
looking
that?
at this. Huh?
Did my stream look like that?
I mean, probably.
Nobody said anything to me. Like when I was streaming it too, I had it set up so that I had chat in the world with me, so I could just turn around and look at chat.
Oh, I didn't know how to do that. I don't know.
So
I had to look it up.
Recorded back in March, I wasn't using the spectator mode going out to OBS. I was using the perspective of one of the eyes.
No, it's all one of the eyes. Well, but the thing is, can you turn off the spectator mode, the one that the game automatically starts up?
I think you can by default, yes.
Well, I mean, that's the thing.
I wasn't.
Not only
I wasn't
is
capturing
my
the spectator mode. I was capturing the HMD eye, the left eye specifically.
Not only am I very.
Let's talk about the game.
So well, I mean, I think talking about VR and the VR experience is part of the game, especially because not only is this is my first experience kind of messing around with this PC VR, and I'm just sort of jumping into. I think a lot of people are going to be picking up PC VR for the first time, and this is going to be the game that they play. So a lot of this, there's going to be some growing pains trying to like figure all this out, and it's a little tricky. I mean, the game itself is the stuff that y'all been talking about for weeks, right? I mean,
yeah, to an extent.
We talked about some settings and stuff, and how like
no. I'm saying the game itself. The game itself, I think, is really good. I mean, it's just like a good horror like experience.
How do you feel about the flick, like to pick things up? I forgot what they call it.
The Russell's ability to like like flick or whatever the gravity.
Yeah, that's
so good.
That's cool.
So Brad,
Cool.
I found Nick's old broadcast. His is definitely leaning towards the ground, but nowhere near as much as yours.
But do you think it's because I'm tall?
It could be. No, Nick, it literally could be. There is a difference. One thing I noticed, and that's something I need to find some footage of Brad so I can compare it to. But like a lot of the time in the game, I'm like, I don't know if they just think Alyx is short or if they think I'm short, but I would come up to like a fucking doorway and I would feel like the doorway was like 5 feet above me when like a standard door is what, like 7
I feel really tall.
Yeah.
But see,
but there are settings too that will change
it might have something to do with the VR specifically, because I feel like for me to get like a good focus to where it's not a little fuzzy, I feel like I'm constantly like tilting it down a little bit. Like, does that make any sense? Like I'm
that could be it. Yeah.
I'm raising the back a little to get like a good focus, and
I constantly like I every few minutes I tend to like kind of grab the front of the headset and like and then I'll reach in the back and I tighten the knob so that it pulls closer to my face. But for the most part, it wasn't really an issue for me. But like there are settings in the game too that, and I'm not sure what's set by default, but I noticed when because there was one point where I tried to play sitting down, and when I tweaked the settings for that, it was really weird.
I don't know how anyone could play this sitting down.
I have no clue.
I feel like when I'm fighting Combine and stuff. So I will say the where I'm at in the game, for like a reference point, is I just stopped and caused a big train to crash.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah, and so I don't know how far that is. I think it's chapter 3 or 4.
You got a decent chunk of game left.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, I don't feel like I've played all that much. Now sessions feel longer than they are because it can be kind of uncomfortable being in VR for a long time. One thing about the PSVR is it's really comfortable. And like almost any other VR headset I've tried, like kind of none of them really seem to compare to the comfort of the PSVR. There's something that they figured out, like maybe it's what that soft rubber or plastic it is, or just the construction, but like getting in and out of that thing and just extended use.
I think the Oculus Rift S comes pretty close. I mean, the PSVR is definitely, I think, probably the high standard for comfort for me so far. But I've been pretty impressed with the Oculus Rift S so far, and I've had some pretty lengthy sessions with it.
Yeah, I had some pretty lengthy sessions with my Index. So,
well, yeah, Chris, we know your Index is better than ours.
Shut up.
I don't think it is. I think it's worse, Chris Davis. So yeah, I think the game is really great. I mean, it feels like Half-Life, just maybe like a little bit slower pace, or like a dialed down. I feel like the game is sort of accounting for the fact that you're like in VR, so it's not throwing as much at you.
It's definitely a slower
everything moves
pace.
a little slower, right?
Yeah. I don't think you ever really end up in firefights where there are like, I'm not sure, I can't remember how heavy. I think you've just kind of started getting to the point in the game where there are firefights are becoming a little more frequent, but like it pretty early on, it gives you, like, you come up against like 3 or 4 enemies at once, and I don't think it ever really throws more than that.
It is never
at once.
It is never like the coast in Half-Life 2. It is never like you're feeling rushed and there's things coming at you and stuff. It is never that intense.
Yeah. The other reason is the pacing feels really slow is because you spend a lot of time just like looking around for stuff, right? Like I had no idea there was like a weapon upgrade system, but once I saw that, it's like, oh man, I want to find all of those little fucking upgrade modules.
Yeah.
And so you spend a lot of time like really looking around and kind of looking up, because there's a lot of stuff like on like higher ledges and stuff if you really look for it. And I found like that exploratory, like looking around, like really satisfying, but it really kind of slows down the pace, which is fine because it kind of feels like a like a slower paced horror type game or whatever.
Yeah.
But the atmosphere and the music and just, I mean, it's all just as freaky and cool as ever, like fighting head crabs and stuff. And
I was
you
really
can't
hesitant.
you only really see the floor, but in this video is the first encounter with like the blackhead crabs, and those things have always been the bane of my existence.
Oh yeah.
And
I was really hesitant or nervous at first going into this because I was like, Half-Life in VR sounds cool. Valve hasn't made a Half-Life game in over 10 years, and everyone talks about people who were involved with the original have kind of departed, and like who is even making this game anymore, And I was like, is this game going to live up to people's nostalgia or people's memories of Half-Life? And I was really shocked by how much, like, how it did live up to it. By the end of it, I was like, wow, that was like just as amazing as any other Half-Life game I've ever played. So
I'm a little like the physics and stuff of the world are real nice, but it all feels like kind of sluggish and stuff. Like again, don't spoil anything, but I'm kind of like jonesing for a proper fucking gravity gun, because there's all these objects in the world, but interacting with them is a little kind of slow and clunky, just compared to like how it is in like Half-Life 2, for example, right? Where it's kind of,
I think
especially once you
in
get that gravity gun.
I think in
And
this, compared to the gravity gun in Half-Life 2, the gloves feel more realistic. You know what I'm saying? In Half-Life 2, it was kind of like gamey, where it's like I point at something, I click a button, and it's just fucking in front of me. It's like bam, it's there. And then I press a button to like repel it, and it's gone. Like it felt kind of like unrealistic. Whereas in this, as realistic as anti-gravity devices are, it does feel more like
it's realistic.
it's
But
grounded in
what I'm
reality.
trying to say is, I feel like I'm not looking at the objects in the world as like tools, like weapons, like you would in Half-Life 2, right? Where everything was basically a weapon. Here it's just sort of stuff in your way, or you can use it to kind of maybe like block some of these paths, and that's really cool. But I just feel like weak. But I guess that's giving it more of like a survivally horror feel to it.
It's like Ravenholm-esque, where it definitely feels like a little more scary, a little more like intense. You would definitely like earlier in this footage was I saw you went into the first time you interact with darkness, and dude, the first time you do it gets fucking scary.
Man, I wish I was right-handed or left-handed. I don't know. The gun,
the pointing with the flashlight with your arm is kind of clunky.
I almost put the gun in my other hand because aiming with the light while picking, I don't know what I'm trying to say.
I will say the frustrating thing for me is the fact the light's automatic. I wish it wasn't, because there's so many times when you're in a dark, later on, Brad, you'll see, because it only turns on when you're in a dark area. But there are plenty of areas of this game that are dark, but I guess they're not dark enough, so the flashlight doesn't come on.
It seemed weird that you couldn't just like hit down on like, there was not some button on that you could, or some direction you could move the analogs to kind of trigger the flashlight.
Yeah, what you ought to try, Brad, is have your weapon out and then hold the butt of your pistol, for example.
That's what I did a lot.
So you can like kind of do a aim with the flashlight thing.
That's kind of how I did it. I would kind of rest the arm, my hand that I was holding the gun with on my other hand, and then I would use that to kind of direct the flashlight.
So did everybody do the free motion thing, walking around?
I did,
yeah.
I did the free.
And
motion,
honestly,
that might be good, because like with the way I do it, there's like you flick the right stick back to kind of hop back a little bit, which I sort of do to kind of like when I'm too close to something, or if I'm getting a little too close to the enemy and I don't want to completely disengage. But I accidentally sometimes hit the left stick back, which blinks me forward still. And I've died, or I've gotten into like shitty situations because I've tried to back off and I actually just jumped forward at a zombie. I might even do it like here, but
I would definitely recommend just messing around and seeing what kind of combination you come up with, because I was really surprised by how in depth all the options were, like how you can kind of find the perfect medium that works for you.
I gotta say, one of my favorite parts of the game is just how much like again, maybe it's because I'm tall, I don't know, but I spend a lot of time like crouched down like to help me aim.
Hmm.
You know, like I'll take a crouched position and put my arm like on my knee to like help me aim, especially like if I'm in a firefight with like the combine and like to reload, I'll crouch down on the ground to do it. Again, maybe because I'm fucking tall, but I feel safer and I feel like I aim better.
Yeah,
But
that's
I feel
definitely
like
an
that
experience I
feels
didn't
pretty
have.
realistic. Well, I mean,
Say it.
as short as you are, Nick,
Yeah, thank
you're
you.
always
So,
crouched.
Brett,
Really.
you did set up the VR correctly, right? There's like a process where you like tap the remote on the ground to set the ground level and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay, just making
But
sure.
I mean, I don't know. I'm tall. I feel like it makes Alex Vance tall, and I'm at a disadvantage. Like
I feel like people listening at home
I'm
are
sticking
picturing
up.
Brad like 8 feet tall.
I'm sticking up over things more. I don't know. Yeah, it's just. But I feel like that's a cool sensation. Like when I'm just sort of hunkered down and I'm just sort of terrified and reloading my gun. Like it feels cool.
Yeah.
I just want to say, like,
I can't imagine playing this in a chair. I mean,
yeah, I don't even know how that
Neither
would
can
that would
I.
work. But there's something just real magical about like, and you can probably have the same feeling when you're playing, not with the free motion. I'm not sure, but just like the feeling of like when you're like walking down a hallway or exploring a building and you don't really know what's around the corner or what's behind a door, and like just slowly walking through a hallway and then like seeing a door kind of cracked open, and like I would just lean out and you can just kind of push the door open with the butt of your gun and like stick your arm through that, like you can literally just stick your arm into the room and like point without actually committing to going all the way into the room, and it just gives you this like really nice sense of like
yeah.
being able to explore an environment in ways that I've never really done before. It's really
Yeah,
hard to
I
explain.
agree. It's so weird though because like, man, everyone's going to be talking about this game in terms of like innovation, or at least I feel like there's an awkward conversation because a lot of people also have not experienced much of what VR has to offer, and it's easy to make claims like, "Oh, Valve is doing all this innovative shit." Like back when with some of the stuff they were doing with Half-Life 1 and Half-Life 2, I feel like you could do that. But here, like VR is like a weird experimental technology that's always changing, and there's all these like new and weird things that it makes it.
I,
It.
th- I
I
think
feel
now
like
it's
at
just
the
more
end of the
about
year when we're
polish.
talking about this game, we're all going to be wanting to make bold claims about how Valve like really changed VR, but maybe really what they did is just made it awesome, polished Half-Life game, and that's maybe enough.
Yeah.
I don't know. The thing is, we can't make those claims. I don't know. I don't know.
It
Maybe
is.
we need to try more of what's out there.
I think it really is just
I
about
wouldn't say
polish.
they made like VR like a thing. I would definitely say though that they put more polish into any game, any VR game I've ever played. And I've not played two. I've played a decent chunk of VR games. Out of all the ones I've played so far, yes, I've not played them all. Out of all the ones I played so far, this has been the most I don't want to say like graphics wise realistic, but it looks pretty fucking good.
Well,
Like
yeah,
when you're
definitely.
interacting with Russell and you're right up in his face, like that is it's an impressive looking game. It feels good. The fact that I can do the free walk and not feel dizzy, and I don't know how they do it, because it's not like it's not like, oh, I'm using an Oculus versus an Index, and oh, it has a higher refresh rate and blah blah blah, whatever. It's the same fucking headset. I can play these two games side by side. One of them will give me a headache that lasts several hours and like nauseous in my stomach, and the other one, nothing. Like maybe after playing for 4 hours, I'm a little like, ooh, when I come out of VR.
And
But that's
Brad,
any VR game.
like building off what Nolan is like, I would recommend trying, because of how easy it is to literally just turn it on and try it and then switch it off. Absolutely give it a shot and just see if it works for you, because
Yeah.
this is absolutely a game. If you can play it without feeling nauseous or dizzy, absolutely should be played in free movement.
Well, sure. I just didn't know you could blink.
Yeah, I mean, there's
But I mean,
quite a few settings that you can
I assure
play
you,
around
the
with.
way I'm playing it is not like taking away from my experience. It
I mean,
seems really excellent.
sure. I mean, I can only speak from my experience before, and I like the blinking shit drives me crazy. I first started playing this game because when it first launched, there was a glitch where you couldn't turn on the free movement. It would say it would turn on, but it wouldn't let you. It would force you to still be doing the quick turn, the blink turning.
Yeah.
And I played it for I considered putting it down until they patched it out because I couldn't stand it. But that's just a personal preference. Like
the
blink turning thing
at like 5 hours later.
Yeah, it was like less than 24 hours before they patched it. But like I've tried playing other games with the blink turning, and it literally for me it pulls me out of the experience and distracts me so much that I pretty much don't really have any interest in playing it that way. That's just my own personal opinion. But like because this game does the free movement so well, it's something that should be at least attempted by anyone who's trying, because the game does an impressive job at it.
But you don't aim with your head, which is the real.
I aim with my head.
You aim with your head in this?
Yeah.
Well, no. It's
I mean,
not like
when you're hitting,
I'm talking about Resident Evil 7, where you literally aim with your head.
Oh, yes. No. Well, that was only a limitation because that's the PSVR, and that's how.
Yeah.
You're not holding two controllers. You're holding an analog or like a DualShock. And
well, they have move controllers, Nick. I think Resident Evil 7 just didn't support that.
Did it not support that?
No.
I don't know. I don't own move controllers, so my PSVR experience is pretty limited.
Oh.
But anyways, anything else you want to say about Half-Life before we move on? Or?
No, I mean I'm excited to play more stuff like that, where I was like rounding a corner and a head crab just popped. I'm just horrified that I'm going to open a drawer, lift a bucket, and there's going to be a head crab underneath there. And
that's the beauty of it, dude. By like halfway through this game, I was like, I would walk into every room and just start opening drawers and cabinets and just. Now, it feels so good.
Now, Brad, true or false? At the very start of the game, you drew a dick on the glass, right?
Oh,
no.
What?
Did you draw anything on the glass?
Yes, I drew my name,
but it looked like a dick. Because that's exactly.
It's just my name, Nick.
That's exactly what I did. I wrote your name in the dick format.
I know. I saw.
It seemed appropriate. By the way, that was like the first time that I was playing that game, and I was like, this is ridiculous how real this feels. Like, I feel like I'm holding a marker in my hand, and I feel like I'm writing on a surface. Like, I feel like there's resistance.
Yeah.
Like when I hit the surface, like I know when to stop my hand because of the way it feels. That
was like the first delightful surprise of the game.
I spent a lot of time trying to draw a dick on that glass. Anyways, let's move on.
I remember there being a story of a math teacher who was doing lessons using Half-Life Alyx and that glass.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That was really cool.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. We have other games to talk about, other big games like Final Fantasy VII Remake. Everyone's still chugging away. I know, like I said, Nolan, you hadn't started it last week, but you're a decent way into it now.
Yeah, about 11 hours. I just got to Eris's house.
Cool.
I had a final thing that I want. What I'm saying is I'm not going to stream this game if it looks like that. I think that looked like shit. So unless I figure something out. Yeah, I mean, I probably won't be streaming that.
Maybe tweak a couple of settings. I would come over and help, but obviously I'm not going to. So maybe tweak a couple of things and see if you can kind of. It's one of those things.
I looked at all the settings.
You can't
change it from left eye to right eye.
I know, but like I said, I think there might be some settings on maybe the Oculus as well. And it's just one of the things where it's like in your case, you have to get like Malia to help you do it because you can't be in the game, and like it's kind of hard to judge exactly what you're seeing.
Also, if you do decide to stream it, let me know. I can show you the tutorial I found that basically shows you how to put chat in the world with you. Which actually is really cool, except the problem is like when I envisioned it in my head, it was just like it'd be floating text, but it's not floating text. It's literally the window.
Yeah. So
like you have to place it, and it's static. So wherever you place it, you have to place it out of your field of view so you don't constantly see it. So I put it directly behind me. But this is such I get so engrossed in the world, I'm constantly like looking around and checking behind me and stuff. So I would look behind me to see if there's like a monster coming or something, and I'd be like, oh, there's chat. So I started putting it on the ceiling
behind it.
I started putting it directly on the ceiling. So whenever I wanted to see chat, I would just look straight up. But it works.
Cool. I don't need to see chat.
I mean, sometimes you might want to see it just so you know that you're still live.
Yeah. or that people can hear you.
You could start streaming and then like play for an hour and then realize it died after like 5 minutes or something. Anyways, let's talk about Final Fantasy VII Remake. We've all been playing a bit of it. Brad, have you made some progress in that since last week as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, and like I said at the beginning of the show, I'm in World Market, so I'm right around where Brad was last week. Walmart. Yeah, sorry.
World Market.
What did I say?
Did I say
World Market?
I'm thinking about shopping.
And...
I'm thinking about shopping. What do you want me to?
You're gonna get some overpriced rugs
or really fucking cheap
or
wine.
Some
some
$3 sodas or what else they have at World Market?
Bullshit furniture.
How long from Eris's house to Wall Market?
There's
a lot. Everything's a lot. The answer is a long time.
Yeah, everything is stretched out. So, by the way, guys, this is still driving me. Like, this texture issue in this game is still driving me fucking bonkers.
It sucks that they haven't patched it.
There are so many things that I just think are not loading, are taking longer to load in, and they never load in. It's just the texture doesn't exist. There's so many things. And by the way, the footage that I'm rolling, I tried not to get anything too spoilery, and most of it's combat. But it is kind of combat involved in a story. It's hard to get footage for this game without capturing spoiler material because it's so linear.
You're gonna do the boss fight?
I start the boss fight.
That was a cool. I mean, I would say that is a little bit of a spoiler, but it's cool because you encounter the enemy like in an earlier area before you get to Wall Market, and it's just like a regular
in the original game.
Yeah. It's just sort of a regular enemy you fight in that previous area, and I feel like there's been like a lot of like mythos surrounding this enemy because it's one of the wackier enemies in the game. So the fact that they kind of build it up to like a boss fight was kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the examples of things being kind of remixed in this game that I feel is like a nice touch. There are certain, like, albeit I haven't played the original in quite a while, so there's certain things I keep trying to remember, like, was this in the original or is this entirely new? The Colosseum wasn't in the original, right?
No, it was not.
In any way.
No.
Okay,
but
that's
as far as like story and lore, I feel like it's really obvious, easy to tell what stuff was in the original, what stuff wasn't. Outside of like Sephiroth stuff, but I'm talking about like characters and like the main thing that's happening in the story that didn't happen in the original is like obviously different.
So the one thing that I've had more experience with since last week that I kind of want to talk about is, and I mentioned this before, but my God, it is really so. Like, first of all, I'm loving the game. I'm totally into it, but the disparity between like the quality of the main quests, like the story quests, are magical. I fucking love anything involving the story and character development and stuff, but the side quests are fucking garbage. They're fucking garbage.
You're so like unfairly like judging that because you just played The Witcher where they're indistinguishable. Like these are just normal side quests.
I know, but like
this is any RPG's normal side quest quality.
Yeah.
I don't like RPG side quests. It's
well, so don't do them.
I'm just like anal retentive about this stuff, especially because you pull up the menu, you go into the map screen, you tap R2, and you have all these like boxes that you can just literally check off.
Let me tell you though, the first two like open slum areas where you do side quests, it's like fine, like in terms of where you are in the story and their justification and just kind of the pacing, just where you are in the main story. It's like, fine, I'll do some side quests. But later on in the game, after kind of shit hits the fan, if you've played Final Fantasy VII, when shit kind of hits the fan in Midgar, right? There's a big thing happens.
Yes.
People die, whatever, right? And then it's like you're back in the slums. You're like, well, we should probably go do this big thing and wrap up Midgar. But if you want to do some side quests, you can do that. Then it feels like you'll really challenge your desire to want to do all the side quests because it feels really stupid and out of place.
I don't have any desire. Like
I know that's what I'm saying. I'm saying you don't want to do them, but you're doing them. I'm saying at this point you're probably just gonna say fuck it.
I hope so, because like there was
But the rewards are typically pretty good for all
and
this
that's
stuff.
probably why I keep doing them. And also, I'm worried that I'm going to skip them, and there's going to be like a secret summon materia or something that's attached to one.
Who cares? Summons suck in this game. That's one of my pet peeves. Is I feel like the summon system is kind of like lame and borked, and
it's only remotely better than the summon system from 15.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I don't know when this became a trend in Final Fantasy, but at some point they decided to take control out of when you cast summons.
Yeah, that was 15.
No, but like I feel like they've done it before. Like, wasn't it that way? Could you choose when to summon summons in 13?
Summons as like
there's summons in 13.
There are summons in 13, but I feel like
I thought you could choose when to.
13 had shit like that. Yeah,
13 had summons, but I don't think
I'm still butthurt that in Final Fantasy 9. The stupid trance thing was like a way shittier version of the limit breaks from the previous 2 games.
I mean, I agree with that as well. As much as I love Final Fantasy 9, but like this is just so much more egregious. I do think the summons in this game are a step up from 15, but that's because
sure. That's because 15 they looked more epic at least.
Well, okay,
but I played.
They just don't feel all that useful.
I played 15 for like 50 hours. I think I only saw a summon once.
I know, but it was fucking epic.
I saw it twice, Nick.
It was pretty epic.
Fucking epic.
And yes, I agree. No, I wholeheartedly agree. It was epic. The whole fucking landscape being changed is cool and all, but the fact that it only happened fucking twice in the entire
and it was the same summon both times.
Yeah, Rama, whatever. Yeah,
were there even?
I never saw Titan. I never saw like. Could you get Shiva? I know you fought Shiva. But anyway, fucking bullshit. Like I miss the days of fucking Final Fantasy like 8 and like 10 where like the summons had a health, and as soon as their health was gone you couldn't summon them anymore because they didn't have any health. So but if you had a bunch of summons and they all had health available, you could summon as many of them as you fucking want.
I do like that they feel more substantial. Like I've summoned summons plenty of times, and every summon that I've unlocked I've been able to use, and I like the fact that you can spend your own ATP gauges to use their abilities.
You mean your only resource to do everything in the game? It's the same thing. I wish there was like another fucking something that controlled the summons, because it's like, well, I could do the summon or I could do this, and I guess I'll just do this because I need to fucking heal, because you always need to heal in this game, and because you just take so much damage.
Like if the summons had their own ATB gauges, that would help.
That would be better. Yeah.
Something. I would. It's all too homogenized or something. It's all revolves around that ATB meter, and you get a lot of cool, interesting materia to where you can start manipulating that stuff a little bit, and that's cool. That's exciting. Honestly, when I first 10 hours with the game, I was really I just thought the combat system was just way too simplistic and like just like paper thin, right? But at least they start introducing some like interesting materia as you go.
I also like how all the different characters have, and this can be said, I guess, at the original as well, but maybe to a less extent. But all the different characters have different like focuses and ways of fighting and different abilities and stuff that
mostly based around their weapon types.
Yeah, but like Aerith can use like my favorite one that she has is Arcane Ward, where she like sets up a ring on the field, and then if you go into that ring and cast a spell, when you cast it casts it twice without using extra MP.
Really good.
It's really so if you
have to control her, she'll never do it on her own.
I know, but
they'll never do anything on their own.
But you can tie it to a quick. You can tie it to a quick, but like the L1 quick menu.
Yeah.
So you can like switch to her, tap L1, hit circle, whatever you have it tied to, and then jump back to Cloud, and she'll be casting it. And then you just run over and get into the circle.
But you can also get her to do
spells.
it without switching into her, just by pressing X and doing your triggers to switch between.
I guess if you do it quick enough. But usually I just don't.
Menus in this game feel super snappy, and I love that. Like everything feels very responsive. In combat. One of my biggest pet peeves is like when you're like fucking talking to someone like Chadley, and you're like, is this conversation over? I want to go to my menu, and it just gives you the pause screen, and you're just waiting to back out of the fucking conversation, and it's taking forever, and you keep hitting start. And you're like, not a menu yet, not a menu yet. Now it's a fucking menu. What the fuck? I don't
know.
Y'all
know what I'm talking about?
Yes, absolutely. I think I do that in this footage.
It takes like, a while to go from a cutscene or something to play. And so generally what I've been doing is I just wait until I can move Cloud, and as soon as I know I can move him, that's when I know the menu's available.
Yeah.
I do think one thing about menuing though is that when it comes to cinematics and like cinematics for like an important fight, you can actually there'll be a prompt to actually open the menu before the start of the fight within the cinematic.
Wait,
So if you look in the lower left hand corner before like a big boss battle or something, sometimes you'll see like a square icon for the square button. If you hold that and it finishes its load, right before the boss battle begins, it will go straight into the menu to where you can edit your character and change out your loadouts.
You know, one of my most frustrating things is like I'm constantly in the menus, constantly swapping out materia and stuff, switching because you're switching characters. You're forced to use certain characters. Other characters go away. You're constantly getting new weapons. You're upgrading your weapons. You're getting new materia. You're leveling up materia. So I'm constantly swapping shit out. But then I'll find myself in like a story sequence and a boss battle. I'm like, well, I forgot to bring assess materia, or I forgot to bring the weakness element. And I'm like, am I just gonna grind this fucking boss fight out, or am I just gonna restart it?
Or I just didn't know what materia I needed to bring. So now I'm kind of fucked.
I just wish that there was like a way to just pull that shit up in battle.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Because it's
It'd
like
be nice.
I get into these long sequences and I'm like, should I just restart this shit and reset all my materia, or should I just keep going? I'm gonna miss the assess, which means if Chadley has another thing, I'm gonna miss that. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
But
it's just
it's
irritating.
I agree with Gigamir in chat. He said the more comfortable he got with combat, and the longer it went on, the more complex, the more tactical it started to feel. Like I'm getting to the point now where combat feels pretty good. Like
What do you do?
What do you mean?
So I tried like using like Tifa and stuff because she seems like she'd be kind of fun to use, but she's just, Cloud's just so much better. The fact that Cloud has that counter stance, it's like, I'm not going to use Tifa, right? Because she's fast and stuff, but like her stuff doesn't string together as fluidly as you like. Yeah, some of it does, but some of it doesn't. And then the fact that like I was thinking about this a lot, right? Like there's ideas here that seem really great on paper, and I'm glad they're here. Like Cloud's ability to switch into that different heavy stance, right? But the way you do it is kind of clunky. There's no like seamless way to like.
You can tie it to
if you switch into it after doing
there's a skill. There's that one skill that's
if you're just doing a regular attack and you press triangle before that attack ends, he will seamlessly switch into the other stance.
But there's still that delay where he goes. It doesn't feel smooth.
I don't think it's any more of a delay than him ending a combo with regular attacks.
And
it could be. I see what you're saying.
But it's the kind of thing where, like, I just played Neo, right? And if he just played fucking Witcher, right? And that's ruining his side quest experience. I just played Neo, right? Where you have the switch glaive, where you can like, or like the Odachi, where stance changing just smoothly becomes a part of a combo, right? And I feel like that's in execution, that's the way that stuff should be, but here it's a little clunky. Or like Tifa's her buff, right? Her unbridled strength, right? You just have to use the ATB to like do this buff and then fill it up again and then do it again, right? And then you can do her like long triangle combo that does a lot of damage. But if there was a way you could like time it to where you could seamlessly do those buffs like mid combo, kind of like in Neo, like where you're doing stuff with the Tonfa, right? It would just flow so much better, and I might actually want to use her. But as it stands, she just doesn't seem like she's as good as like Cloud, right? Like one of the things I like doing with Cloud is just really well timed like triple strikes or whatever it's called, to where you're hitting multiple enemies with each strike, and if you really time it right and position it right, it does like a fuck ton of damage to a bunch of enemies. So like crowd control, and it's like Tifa can't do anything like that. All her stuff is like single target damage kind of. I just wish she had something that would hit multiple enemies or something. I don't know. And then like Eris, I think she just feels kind of bad to play because her default attack is so like slow and laggy, so it just doesn't feel good. And
I like her. I like using her. So my general approach to combat is when I'm. The thing is, most of the combat scenario, like I'm still at a point in the game. I don't know if this ever changes, but like I'm almost never been in a situation where I have more than one other person with me, and it's always I don't choose that person. It's just whoever the story dictates I'm playing with at that moment. So like I play as Cloud 99% of the time, and then I switch to another character for a split second to issue a command for whatever once their ATB gauge is filled to like do a magic attack or
So
do a
so
buff,
you switch
and
to
then I
the
switch
character.
back.
You don't use the triggers.
Uh, I do. So like I'll use the trigger to swap over.
No. D-pad
So
swaps over.
you're
Trigger pulls up their menu on your character, basically.
You can give them a command without
So,
switching to them.
so I open the menu and then I use the trigger to tab over to that character,
Gotcha.
issue their attack, and then tab out. So I'm still controlling Cloud.
Gotcha. Yeah.
There are even times where I switch to the character with the D-pad and then pull up their menu or their quick, because a lot of times I do spend a lot of time mapping stuff to their L1 quick menu. So I'll tab over to them, hold L1, hit the button I need, and then immediately switch back. And that is super snappy. Like you can hit the button as quick as you can hit the button and hit the D-pad again. You're already back over to Cloud while and you can see her over there casting her spell or doing whatever the hell you issued.
And
So
back
that
on
stuff
topic
feels
of
really nice.
Playing as Aerith, like she gets some really fucking good abilities later in the game.
I'm really liking her.
But you
for
can
her
do
ability.
a lot of that stuff just from without switching to that character. Well, I'm more talking about just moving around, dodging with her, and her default attack doesn't feel good. So I wouldn't actually choose to control her in battle, because you can go into like your battle settings and change who the leader is, right? So when you go into a combat scenario, you don't have to switch off a Cloud. You're just the
Does
other
anybody
character.
switch off a Cloud?
I did for a while.
Well, yeah,
early
that's what
on
I'm
when
talking about.
when I was trying to get some of the Chadley stuff, and I wanted to be Tifa just so I could stagger people. I defaulted to her just because it was easier than every time I went into combat to manually switching.
Yeah, I guess
Just
that
having
makes
to
sense.
start as her was convenient.
Yeah, I mean, I play as I don't mind playing as Barrett either. Later on in the game, he gets a type of weapon that, well, I mean, he gets melee type weapons. So
So he is not just limited to long
well, he's
range
not. He
attacks.
becomes
Every
non-ranged
character
at
kind of
all.
gets their own special switch up on their formula weapon. Like
Yeah.
Aerith gets a melee weapon, Barrett gets one, and then Tifa and
think they're
Cloud,
the
I
only
think,
two.
get their own magic focused weapons.
Yeah.
Well, they still do their combos, but yeah.
I mean, yeah,
Um,
but it changes the way you use those characters.
So, just moving off of combat for a second, because there are some things non-combat related. Because I spend a lot of time in this game not in combat. I'm so there's some. I don't want to spoil anything, obviously. But like, I'm constantly kind of surprised by things that like I was like, well, there's no way they're gonna put that in the remake that have like made it into the game.
I mean, so far I haven't. I'm obviously not as far as anybody. I'm literally the farthest behind. But I haven't seen anything that was in the original that's not in this so far.
There's only one thing I can complain in this department, and this is for me finishing the game.
But is it gonna spoil something?
No, it's not going to. I promise you.
Okay.
Spoil
in the original game, in the slums of Final Fantasy VII, you can go into people's various different houses and everything. There was one house you go into where there was like this little boy with like 2 gil as his savings, and you can choose to take that. But if you didn't take it, you got like an ether or an elixir if you came back. But I couldn't find that in this game. So
yeah, I mean they obviously didn't do like 100%, but it's impressive. All the stuff that they did put in to keep it true, but also the 90%. Things the things that they've remixed too. Like Brad mentioned that the Hell House thing, like that was a cool way to fit that character in or that monster in a different fashion. So when you kind of least expect it, that stuff's really cool. But there's also when you're reading dialogue from Final Fantasy, like a classic Final Fantasy game, they can do some stuff. They can say some things that might sound, bless you, that may sound risque or just a product of the time. They're like, oh, there's no way that'll make it into the game.
You must mean Barrett.
Oh, well, that Barrett's one of them, yeah. But there's some stuff that happens in Wall Market that I was like, oh, this is making me uncomfortable. There's some weird
Oh,
shit in there's some weird shit that happens in Wall Market.
Well, like the
There-
whole
there-
wall
just wait,
market sequence,
some-
that was
there's
one of the
some
first
stu-
things they promised that they were going to retain. Like
I
when
know,
they,
and,
when
like,
they
I knew
first
it was
announced
going
the
to-
project, they were
well,
like,
they
"We're going to
don't-
be as
they don't
true
have
as
all of the
possible,
wall market in there.
including the wall market section."
Well,
I mean-
not everything from the Walmart. You don't.
No,
you can't
they-
jump
they-
in
they
a
didn't
hot
keep that
tub with a
same
bunch
kind
of
of quest
muscly
line,
dudes.
no.
Wait, you don't get to do that?
No.
Skip
Well,
forward.
not from. I already did Walmart.
Did you do the
There's actually two ways to do wall
I don't wanna
market
spoil it.
actually, in this, though.
but wait, 2 ways? What
Yeah.
do you mean?
Yeah, it's one of the either Don's aides you can go and work with,
Oh, gotcha.
and
gotcha.
they have completely different quest lines.
I have not finished the Wall Market section yet, so I still have not. I haven't seen everything that you can do in this section, but it is impressive, like how fleshed out it is. It is easily the biggest. I feel like the biggest area I've had to explore with the most random stuff going on that I really enjoy. There's just there's some quiet moments between characters that were like relegated to like dialogue boxes in the first game. That just I was like, that would be so abrasive and so weird translated into spoken word that made it into this game. That's kind of impressive. I like it.
I'm not there yet, so
Also, I want to say, so we talk so much about this game, like, when are we going to get the rest? So, we want to see more of the world. They fucking went and made the music from like all these other iconic areas in Final Fantasy VII, like Cosmo Canyon, like Gold Saucer, and make them collectibles in the game, so you can hear the music, knowing that you'll never go there.
But they're all
in this-
remixes, though. You got to keep that in mind.
That's true.
Yeah, but they're cool remixes. I wish there was a
Yeah.
way I can listen to them like.
in the game without having to
In
go
the-
back to the
like
bar.
the
Yeah.
radio of a car when you're just driving around or something
Yeah,
like that.
something like that, because they're all like shitty like jukebox versions of the songs. I
Yeah.
want to just listen to like a nice version of those remixes, and I will say the remixes are really good in this game, but at some point there's like so many versions of so many different songs. A lot of it's starting to get kind of like muddled together, and it's losing its like distinctness a little bit. Does that make any sense? Like I'm having a hard time just like keeping track of the fucking soundtrack.
How do you
I
mean?
swear to God, I've heard like multiple versions of like the same songs over and over, and
That's because there are.
yeah, I know, but I'm saying like it seems
makes this
like
less
they're all
distinct.
just like
I mean, I don't think people realize that the soundtrack that's coming out in May is a 7-disc soundtrack.
yeah, that's fucking great, but like I don't want to experience. I want to experience the music in a certain way in the game, and in game, it just seems a little muddled. It doesn't help that like
I mean, I think
the sound mixing, like especially when you're in like a town and like there's all these fucking people talking and you're talking and it's all too
Dude,
loud
that
and
gets
the
fucking
music's too
frustrating for
loud and
me.
like I can't. It's like those scenes in a movie when all of a sudden a character can like hear everyone's thoughts
Yeah.
and they're just like overloaded with all the fucking
It is
thoughts.
frustrating when you're like when Tifa or Aerith or something is walking you through a town and it's not like a cutscene, but they're delivering to an extent some story dialogue and people around you are just fucking talking and it's like, wait, what? And like in the I have it turned on so I see their little text box pop up still, and so like Tifa's saying something to me, but this guy over here is talking
Mhm.
about fucking buying something at a shop, and I'm
Loudly.
like,
And then,
yeah,
like,
and I'm like, why
2
the fuck
feet-
do I care about this guy?
And then 2 feet further, there's a whole other conversation. I feel like as I inch around like a town, it's just like I'm just being overloaded.
the first thing I did in this game was turn off the
Yeah, I did too.
that weird MMO dialogue box that's constantly scrolling on the
bad.
left. It's so weird.
It's
So yeah,
bad.
I turned that off instantly.
What I'm saying about the soundtrack is that I feel like I only want to listen to it. I'm probably only going to enjoy it outside of the game because in the game it's just like
I do think that may be a byproduct of like just the over like everyone talks about this game is great, but it has rough edges, and I think that those and quirks to it, or not
yeah,
quirks.
quirks,
Like
sure.
I think the thing about this game is that like it's one the one thing that I think kind of hinders this game is maybe how linear it is. Like it's very hard to like break off. There's so many times I've wanted to like break off a path and go explore one area, and a game stops me from doing it. And it's the game is constantly trying to steer you down a path. So like you only get to experience things like the music when the game very specifically wants you to experience it. So, and I think that kind of bleeds into every aspect of this game. It doesn't
Bleeding
ruin
is
the
worse.
it doesn't
Oh.
ruin the experience by any stretch of the imagination, but like it is like I said last week, I didn't realize just how linear the Midgar section of Final Fantasy VII was until I played this remake. Because holy shit, the whole game is just hallways that.
That's just your memory misremembering, really, though.
Yeah, I mean, so much of what I remember from Final Fantasy VII obviously is what happens after Midgar.
I mean, the stuff after Midgar is pretty linear as well. But
Through
at least you're in
Midgar, it's pretty fucking linear.
yeah,
Like,
but at
I
least
mean,
you're in a world. At least you eventually get like a fucking airship, and it feels.
I mean,
yes.
like the story is linear after you leave Midgar, but you can explore the world however you want. You can go to any town you want. When you go into a town, it may be kind of linear, maybe set up very similar to Midgar, but you can leave that town. You can go to a shop, buy something, leave that town, fly across the world, go somewhere else, wherever you want. And that's the shit I'm obviously wanting to get to the most. And it sucks knowing
That's not even the next game. That's the game after that.
shut your fucking mouth. Don't
Because
say that.
up until like through Rocket Town, like the entire
yeah,
first
even
disc,
up to Rocket Town, you don't get the actual ship.
it's all linear. There's a couple of optional areas, but
fly it yet. It's just a boat then or whatever.
yeah, it's all linear.
Yeah.
But,
Well,
it's linear, but the path is very wide. Right?
yeah, exactly. It's like a crisis game.
it's like a
Right,
wide,
right, Chris Davis.
it's a wide, it's a game made of wide hallways. Hey, that is the nature of many video games. Let's move on. We'll probably revisit this again at some point.
Revisit. Y'all
Are y'all pretty pleased so far?
Yeah, I'm loving it. Again, like the things that I'm loving, the things that are keeping me like thinking about this game that I'm excited to come back and play it. Like the combat, I think is great. I'm loving the materia system, but like I am loving Cloud, Aerith, Tifa. Like I'm Jesse, Barrett. Like I'm loving the interactions between the characters. And when you get those cinematic moments, when you get those story moments that bring you rushing back when the nostalgia hits, and you're like, oh my god,
There's
like, those
one
moments are
sequence
incredible.
though, without spoiling it, in the main game, Barrett's really upset and he shoots his gun. He punches a wall and then he shoots his gun in the air. Ah! He doesn't do the shooting the gun in the air. And I don't understand why they omitted that, because they've like really kind of slavishly follow. Oh man, there's one sequence y'all need to get to that is open-ended with
Maybe.
the
Oh god.
so you
Okay.
there's a lot of homages to stuff that happens in the main game, like
Beyond Midgar.
beyond Midgar, but they do some of it early, and one of those things is like you might get a certain scene depending on what kind of choices you've been making, versus another scene versus like another scene. And I was surprised to see that in the game, because it's like, oh, this is obviously a nod to that big thing that happens later in the game that everyone always talks about, but I guess it's a clever little thing. Like I didn't even realize it was a thing in the game until I thought I had skipped a scene, and I was like, oh fuck. And it was like what I thought was a pretty important scene. So I looked up a let's play, like a no commentary long play of the game, and I scrubbed to that point so I can watch that scene again. Right. And then I realized like, oh, right after that is a completely different scene with a completely different character. Like that's not what happened in my game at all. And I was really surprised to see that. And y'all might not realize that because it doesn't seem like it's that sort of thing.
I kind of want to do a spoiler cast for this game when it's over.
Oh fuck yeah, we're gonna have a spoiler cast.
Chris Davis is super excited. By the
way, I
wonder
wonder how many people don't even realize that there is a point in the game where you can have 3 different scenes. If y'all know what I'm alluding to. No,
I don't.
It really isn't that much of a spoiler. The illusion feels like a spoiler, but it's not a spoiler.
Are you talking about Tifa? Is that what you're doing?
Tifa? okay, you be careful. You finish the fucking game. So in the main game, you go on a date, right? You
Oh yeah,
remember that?
Oh, Gold
yeah, of
Saucer.
course.
Yeah.
Right?
Mhm.
There is an illusion to that you might not even realize is happening because you're just gonna get this one scene. But you
Right.
don't have to get that one scene. That's what I saw when I looked at a video, a different scene with a different character, and I was like, oh. And then I looked up at another video, and I'm like, oh, there's another scene. And it's like,
Yeah.
Well,
So
that's
there's a
exciting.
hidden
I
affection meter in the game for your characters.
correct. I knew about that, and so depending on what you do, a different person you'll go on the date with. Yeah,
but that's in the main game. Yeah, there's no
correct.
actual dates or whatever in this one, but there was like I said, a scene that's sort of like an homage to that choice
Huh.
that can play out in the main game.
I'm very, very excited to keep going because it's like I'm spending a lot of time, like I said, doing side quests and dicking around in menus and materia and stuff. When like at the end of the day, I'm just like really excited to progress the story and see where I go next. Because I'm surprised by just how legitimately like impressed I am by the characterization of like all of these characters. I thought at least one or two of them would be annoying or just like I can't stand that character, but like I like them all. I love Tifa, I love Aerith, I love maybe Barrett less so. He's like, I'm sure he'll grow on me at some point.
He does.
But, yeah,
I think he's a fine character, but I think you can be like kind of a racist caricature from the 90s, but still be a good character at the same time. So
Yeah.
there's like this weird sort of back and forth with this character. He feels a little Robert Downey Jr. from Tropic Thunder.
yeah.
You were just
Uh,
reading that
you know.
Reset Era thread the other day. Is what
He
you
has
said.
a character arc, Yeah, I mean, it's a topic of conversation. I think it's an interesting one because some people who are really love this game and really love that character they're kind of in denial about his origins, but it's fine for him to have this kind of shitty origins but still be a good character.
Absolutely. So let's just plan to revisit this again for final thoughts, I guess, once we finish it. And again, if anyone wants to do a spoiler cast, I know Chris Davis is obviously down. There are a lot of details I would like to discuss probably without worrying about ruining it for people. So maybe we'll record a spoiler cast later. Why don't we take a quick break and then when we come back we'll get an update on Animal Crossing from Nolan. I don't think we really have much in the way of news to discuss this week, so we'll probably just do that and then roll right into community questions and supporter spotlight and all that stuff. So if you're watching us live, don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a moment. My God, I'm losing my mind live on the feed. Anyways, let's just continue pushing right along. We don't have any news really to talk about this week. So Nolan, give us an update on Animal Crossing New Horizons.
Sure,
How
real
is
quick.
that going?
My island still looks like a butthole. It's very frustrating. I keep going to other people's islands, and their islands look amazing. But after some conversations with community members and some other people I know are playing the game, they have spent a lot more time making their island look nice. Burnett and I now have a plan for what we would like to do to our island. The problem is we spent a bunch of time and money moving around houses, and it takes one day. I'm hearing myself now.
See?
So it's definitely not on my end.
Brad?
So it's someone else.
Chris Davis?
What? I'll mute my mic and we'll find out.
All right.
I don't think it's me.
I'm still hearing myself. Maybe Brad, maybe just mute yourself for like 20 seconds and we'll see if it fixes it. But what I was going to say was we spent a lot of time kind of trying to plan out what our island would look like. And if you want to move someone's house, you have to pay 50,000 bells and then you choose the new location and it doesn't move until the next day. We moved everyone's houses, and not long after that, we decided we wanted to change our layout, which means now we have to move everyone's houses again. Thankfully, Nish, one of our community members, I'm hearing like a lot.
Yeah, what is that hum? Now I hear a hum.
Yeah.
That's gotta be Chris Davis.
It's whatever you did to Chris Davis, it just fixed it. Whatever you just did.
Oh my
your
God.
cat like fucking like jerking off on the mic or something? What was going
She climbed
on?
upon my desk. And I was like, "What do I do?"
No, hold on. I still hear it. Whatever you redid it.
Okay, hang
It's your
on.
mic somehow.
Hang on, let me try something.
That was literally too good.
Did your cat like adjust one of your knobs or something on like the mic? Did you change something? Because it's gone now.
Okay, I moved the cable around.
Okay, well that fixed it. But okay, so anyway, we spent a lot of time moving our houses, and now we've decided that we're going to remove them. But Nish, one of our community members, had turnips going for $446.
Dude,
so
you fucking Elijah Wood.
I'm not Elijah Wood.
You're an Elijah Wood.
I'm not.
Wait,
an
what is an
Elijah
Elijah Wood?
Elijah Wood
He
messaged somebody and
slams
was like, "Hey,
DMs.
you got expensive turnips? Can I come sell them?" But
Yeah.
I did not reach out to Nish. Nish posted in our Animal Crossing Discord channel saying, "Hey, my turnips are selling for a high price." If you note, on Sunday I posted it in there saying, "Hey, you can buy them on my island for a low price. So if anyone wants to come, you're more than welcome."
Wait, so Elijah Wood is out there using his status to get bells? Is that what you're saying?
He slid into someone's
in all
DM. He's like,
honesty-
"Hey, yo, dog, I heard about your turnip prices. Can I come?"
You don't have to do that. Like there are so many people out there who are just willing.
The hum is back.
Chris
The hum is back, Chris
I
Davis.
think I may have fixed
Like-
it.
Back
No,
with a
it's-
vengeance.
It is back with a vengeance.
It's like louder than it was before.
You hear it
Oh my
right
God.
now.
Yes.
What the fuck?
I don't know.
It's all right.
It's good now. Whatever you just did.
What I did was mute my fucking mic.
Okay,
Okay,
mute
mute
your
your
mic
mic.
then. So
Maybe it's the wireless.
Brad, you don't have to be Elijah Wood to do that. So many people are just willing to let people come to their islands just because. But
let's be real. It probably helps.
I can't remember the exact amount. It was on the order of like 4 million bells worth of turnips, and so now I have a shit ton of money to be able to like move stuff on my island and stuff like that. So I'm kind of done with the stock.
Can't you pay off your
market for
mortgage
now.
with that?
I can. So now I'm kind of set for a little while. But that being said, a bridge is like 200,000 bells. A staircase is like 178,000.
Damn, what's up with these inflated bells? Like,
Yeah,
that's a lot of bells.
So I mean,
How much it could cost to make a bridge in real life, Nick?
He's got
Touche.
a point there.
It ain't true.
So my 4 million bells, in all honesty, is not going to last that long. But yeah, now we have a plan, but we're gonna have to reorganize everything on the island. But new events just started today. It is Earth Day coming up. So they've added a bunch of new stuff. They've added some new vendors who sell like shrubbery for your island.
Oh,
Shrubbery.
Red. And
They're
Red.
Red.
You've never met Red.
I haven't. I've heard of Red. Red is an art dealer. He can buy art
he sells
from,
bootlegs.
but he also will sell bootleg art.
Yeah, you just gotta look it up.
This
make sure
time
you're
around,
buying
it's
the real
it's not
shit.
going to be eggs that's going to be haunting you. It's going to be fucking pine cones. There's
There's
pine cones
pine
everywhere. You're going to
cones?
be fishing pine cones. You're going to.
Earth Day.
Are you
Everywhere.
serious?
No, he's fucking with you.
No,
Oh, 'cause I didn't hear anything about fucking pine cones, you motherfucker. But yeah. So
Can
new
I
stuff
just back up
being
and ask you
added.
one question about moving houses and everything?
Yeah, what's up?
Like, are you kicking your neighbors out of your island?
No. What happens is I say, hey, one of my islanders is Pierce. He's an eagle. He's a little cocky, but he's a nice guy. And I'm like, hey, Pierce, can I move your house? And he's like, yeah, sure, why not? So you literally pick a plot of land.
It's a
and
nice neighbor.
You put like, hey, construction in this plot of land, and the next day, Pierce's house will essentially be where that plot of land is, and is where his house is now empty.
Okay.
Essentially, just moves the house over the course of a day.
Because it sounded like you were fucking gentrifying your island.
Just forcing
no.
people.
Fucked up, dude.
Just forcing
Like,
people out of their
Jesus,
homes.
Nolan.
No, I mean I am choosing where they live, and I'm building like a residential area,
Fucked
so
up,
everyone
dude.
is going to live over there.
You mean the
Is that-
east side? Is what you're saying?
it's actually gonna be the west side.
The east side of the river.
That's very
In a-
considerate.
In a couple of weeks, we're gonna get his gerrymandering update.
They don't pay for anything.
Man,
Okay.
I'm paying for all of this. They're living here for fucking free.
Mhm,
Animal
mhm.
Crossing
Uh-huh.
is strangely political.
So it can be. Um, but yeah, so I'm
Cool.
still having fun with it. I'm still catching fish and catching bugs.
I'm picturing,
and-
because you said you and Bernadette were talking about like planning stuff out. I'm picturing you having like spending an entire afternoon at like your kitchen table, like writing shit down. Because I feel like
I
it's a very
mean,
Nolan and Bernadette type thing
yes
to do.
and no. When you pause the game, you can bring up like a map of the island, and I did bring up a map, and we were kind of like, all right, so if we have this many houses, and we choose this section, and kind of starting to plan stuff out. So
That's
to an extent,
fantastic.
not I haven't busted out graph paper yet.
Yet it's coming though.
But
We know
you're molding the landscape for that.
Yeah, so I just started modifying the landscape to be able. I'm moving a river currently, so I can have a little more space on that side for the houses, so we can give them larger yards. Originally, we had given them very small yards, but now we kind of want to build them out so each yard can have like a couple of like little like a table or like a little fireplace or something in their yard. So yeah, my island in approximately like fucking 4 weeks should look delightful. It's just the
Well-
fact that it takes like a day to move a house can be frustrating.
Well, we'll check back in with you in 4 weeks and see how that island's going.
Cool.
Well, like I mentioned a little while ago, there's not a whole lot happening in the world right now with news in this industry.
There's plenty happening. In
I
the
mean,
world.
sorry, in the gaming industry, as far as I think, like the biggest news I can think of off the top of my head is like Microsoft revealed like a new logo for the Xbox Series X. But literally, how much can we say about a
I
logo?
didn't hear about that. Does it look good?
Eh,
I'm not gonna get it.
It
Eh.
looks, I don't know. It looks
It's
some
weird.
kind of-
but then again, so is their console. Not much to say there.
Nielsen. Put
Oh,
out
that's
some,
their logo?
Is it the one that looks kind of like if you mix it up?
I don't know.
Is it like I can't describe it. It's weird.
It's
Sorry, what
an
were you?
X, but it's like it's like has like two pieces and it's like kind of broken up a little bit. I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah, I saw some people already like move it around so it spells sex.
Nice.
So, Chris Davis, what were you saying?
I was gonna say, Nielsen put out some sales numbers the other day. that were
Sales
kinda
numbers.
interesting.
Ooh, juicy.
The two things I thought that were kind of cool. One, Half-Life Alyx. The number they're putting out there is that 860,000 people played it.
Damn.
That's pretty fucking impressive for a VR game, especially a
Yeah.
PC VR game.
I wonder how many. I wonder if that. I guess my question is, I wonder how many they needed to sell to break even on the game.
I mean,
Just out of curiosity, but I don't think we'll ever really know that
I don't
number.
think Valve's too worried about revenue.
they've got too much revenue coming in anyway. And the other was kind of interesting was Doom Eternal. It sold 3 million digitally in March, which according to Nielsen is like 3 times the amount that the Doom 2016 did digitally.
Well, that's impressive. I mean, a lot of the digital sales too is coming because of this quarantine. Obviously,
Yeah.
Final Fantasy VII Remake sold 3 million copies digitally in 3 days.
Yeah,
which
was
is
really
bananas. But not a ton to. It's not
Oh.
entirely surprising given this current situation.
Oh, here you go. Here's the answer to your question. Well, kind of. Direct purchases of Half-Life Alyx generated 40.7 million in revenue.
And how much did it cost to make?
I mean,
Well,
they don't say that. I mean, but
that
then
only
again,
half
has Valve
answers
ever
my
said
question.
that?
But
Well, I mean,
probably
they've
not.
been working on it for 13 years, so
Yeah, in
probably a
one form
few
or another.
So yeah, that's really not, like I said, not a lot to report there news wise. So why don't we just jump straight into community, Nolan? I highlighted some questions, but if
Yep.
you want to go rogue, by all means.
Let's
Those
do
are
the
just
good questions
mere
first.
suggestions. Yeah, Brad. So why don't we do the questions, and then we'll let Brad do his 4-player minute because he has to roll out a little bit
Oh.
early, and then I'll do supporter spotlight, and then we'll finish off our
Oh,
4-player
that
minute.
was the thing, wasn't it, Chai?
First question, Nolan.
Yep. First question this week comes from Thorax, one of our patrons. Between the Kingdom Hearts timeline and Metal Gear Solid timeline, which would be the easiest to explain to your parents?
Metal Gear. I mean,
think
Kingdom
Metal
Hearts
Gear-
is the hardest.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Metal Gear is like, at least Metal Gear feels like like it exists in a world that our parents would be familiar with.
Slightly
You know what I mean?
grounded in reality.
Slightly.
In Metal Gear, you're not Norton boys, so the fact that I'd have to explain that to my parents is a little more complicated than oh, this guy is a genetically engineered kid.
I
It's
found
easier
out
to
what
explain
Norton is
than
today, actually.
oh, well, nice. There you go.
It's like,
Welcome You are now an adult.
Aqua. The fact that I would have to explain Aqua getting Norded to my parents is kind of weird.
Yeah, there's I think there's enough familiarity right out of the gate with the world of Metal Gear Solid because it's very similar to our own. That would make it very easy. You would have to explain to your parents what Final Fantasy is to make them understand
Yeah.
Kingdom Hearts and that. In
Nick
itself.
sounds like someone who
that
hasn't
being
played Kingdom
said,
Hearts
though,
3.
there is one thing they absolutely understand, and it's fucking Disney cartoons. So
That's also true.
that's half the equation there.
So they kind of have half the equation in both situations.
Maybe.
Who knows?
Anyway, let's move on. Next question from Don Dolan. Before Yakuza Kiwami 2, I never knew how to play Mahjong, but now it's one of the funnest, most addictive parts of the game. Have you ever learned how to play one game, poker, blackjack, backgammon, tiddlywinks, etc., while playing another game?
So when I recently restarted playing Red Dead Redemption 2, I spent like 2 hours playing poker. I've learned how to play poker like 4 times, and I always forget. But the tutorial they give you in Red Dead to play poker is actually really straightforward, and I feel like the easiest explanation I think I've ever seen, especially since you always have like the quick guide you can kind of pull up to remind you how everything works. So I feel like I kind of finally learned legitimately how to play poker from Red Dead Redemption 2. Also, it's very fun in Red Dead 2. So
There's definitely been some games I can't think. I'm sure it's probably card games like that I've learned how to play. I can't think of any off the top of my head though. But I've spent plenty of time in like Red Dead playing poker and blackjack and stuff.
I feel like I've bowled more in my life in Wii Sports than actual bowling. I don't know if I would say I learned it from Wii Sports.
Yeah. All right, let's moving on. Next question from Brucey the Wizard.
I guess Brad didn't have an answer to that question.
Brad doesn't know how to play games.
I learned how to play blackjack from an NES game called Casino Kid.
Casino Kid?
You're literally a guy that goes into a casino and you just played blackjack and craps and shit.
Also, dominoes.
I still don't know how to play craps.
I learned how to play dominoes in Red Dead Redemption 2 as well. I never knew the rules of dominoes.
Well, there's lots of different rules to dominoes. There's lots of different variations on
Yeah, you're right. But I mean, like, just like, I guess the most basic?
Sure.
I don't know. I'm no dominoes expert, but I learned how to play a version of it in that game.
Brad, did you have anything to add?
I can't think of anything.
All right. Brucey the Wizard asks, as someone who's never played Final Fantasy VII, would you recommend going ahead and playing the original on Steam or waiting for the remaster?
Did we answer this question already, or I can't remember?
I don't know.
Final Fantasy 7?
He's asking if he should play the remake first or if he should go ahead and play the original since he never played the original.
I mean, you get a better appreciation for the remake when you play the original.
I think
it depends if you can go back to play old games without too much issue. If you can, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, you could at least play through Midgar.
I would say that the old game holds up fairly well. As someone, I know Brad's recently replayed it as well. It definitely plays well still, surprisingly, for being a 20-year-old game.
And being as weird looking as it is.
It honestly does not look as bad as I remembered it.
I think it's just the character models being so inconsistent because that like certain characters have like 20 different versions of their character model. It's weird. That switch kind of arbitrarily. It's bizarre. But yeah, I think you will, not that you have to play the original to play the remake, but there are certainly things in the remake that are made to kind of tickle the nostalgia. You know what I mean? And you're not going to get quote unquote nostalgia if you play them back to back, but you will kind of understand the appeal right out of the gate. You play the original.
Put it this way, I don't think there's necessarily a reason to play the the remake and then go back and play the original. I don't think there's necessarily
but the opposite.
Do it
but doing it the other way around certainly seems like there's plenty of reason to do that. Not to mention, if you play.
I mean, I think if you've never played Final Fantasy 7 and you pick this up and you really love it, I think you should go back and play the old game.
Sorry, let me rephrase, Brad. If you wait until the entirety of this remake is out and play it, I don't really know why you would necessarily go back and replay the original versus if you play what currently I can get on my PS4, pull up and play. That's only, the first like fucking 100th of Final Fantasy VII. So I think it's fine if you want to play that first and then go back because you will have a lot more to play. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's like watching the first movie of a book series and then going back and reading that book series.
Yeah.
Because there's so much of it available over here in a different medium. I would say it's worth it in that regard. All right, next question from Frantic Ficus. Apart from the fact that PS5's touchpad is used for PS4 games, that has you use the touchpad.
What?
I see no. Okay, sorry. He's saying essentially the PS5 touchpad is currently going to be used when playing PS4 games as a touchpad. I see no point in the touchpad. I'm okay. So let me finish the question and then we can maybe go back and
Reverse engineer it.
if Sony is not going to promote a lot of games incorporated with the PS5's controller features, then it would be a feature well wasted for the upcoming console generation. What do you guys think? I think he's essentially asking, the PS5 controller has a touchpad on it. We know it's going to be used when you're playing PS4 games. I think he's asking essentially, are PS5 games going to make use of the touchpad? I think the functionality of the touchpad never really took off. People just now use it as a giant button instead of like swipes and shit like that.
Yeah. I think it exists for backwards compatibility.
That's definitely a part of it.
But I think, if you look back at the past couple generations of PlayStation's controllers have had their own gimmicks. Obviously the PS3 had the 6-axis, and that only was in use or taken advantage of for like a year of its lifespan. The touchpad, for better or worse, maybe it wasn't used in any particular like super interesting way, I guess. But it's still being used to some effect even now in like late generation games. I think it's mostly like an example, because I was capturing footage for Days Gone the other day, and I thought, and I think Horizon was another game that did this really well, but like you can use the touchpad to like as almost a second D-pad to like give you four other, because it has 4 quadrants, so you can like swipe on one side to like open one part of the menu, or swipe to the left to open a different part, and like I feel like it's getting used for things like that pretty frequently. Or obviously, like you said, being used for like another giant button to open things like a map. I think that's the universal usage for it. But also, I think it's way too early to decide to I guess form an opinion as to whether Sony's going to take advantage of it. We don't even really know what all it can do yet. We've only seen pictures,
maybe the
and
new one will be much
descriptions.
more responsive and useful and actually give you a reason to use it.
Yeah, and there was this may be unrelated, but this kind of newsworthy, I guess. There was someone who I don't have it in front of me. This is kind of off the top of my head, but there was someone who used to work on the PlayStation 5 development team that was heavily involved in it, and someone asked him a question about it, and he said there's basically a lot of features of the PS5 that have yet to be revealed. Like, a lot of people are kind of assuming they already know everything about the PS5, and he's like, no. There's a lot of stuff that they haven't, like a lot of functions and features and stuff that they haven't even talked about yet.
Yeah, like they haven't really even spoken about what the dual sense thing means about the controller.
Yeah, it only kind of exists. I think the dual sense is going to be the like the touchpad is just going to be kind of a legacy feature, I think. But the dual sense is going to be what
I think the touchpad is going to extend to all of the white part. I think all of the white part on the controller is going to have some form of like touch sensitivity.
Oh, so like basically the whole controller is
kind of
sensing your touch.
Yeah, I think so.
That's weird. Also expensive.
Yeah,
but it'll be really interesting. But yeah, I it's a little too early, I think, to make any serious guesses about it. We need to know more. Hopefully they reveal something soon, because I'm kind of dying for that information. Next question.
One final question for today from Fuzzy Turd. If you could make a universal Taco Tuesday sort of thing, where everyone eats a food of your choice on a particular day of every week, what would you pick?
Oh,
Fried Chicken Friday.
Fried chicken Friday.
That's pretty good.
No, Brad, you go to Popeyes on Tuesdays for fried chicken because
Yeah,
they
that's
have their
true.
$2 deal or whatever on Tuesdays.
Yeah, that's true.
And Popeyes has some of the best fried chicken.
2-piece and a biscuit.
Yeah, there you go. See, you know.
I thought did you just said so Popeyes? What about Raising Cane's? Where do you?
What? This is not the question. What are you talking about?
Sorry, I thought
those are chicken
styles
strips.
of chicken.
Yeah, those are different.
Or they give you a
Oh,
thimble
no.
of sauce and you got to pay for more.
Hey,
Sorry.
I like both places for different reasons.
Yeah,
Okay.
I had Cane's for dinner tonight.
You didn't. You ordered Cane's?
Yeah, I drove
You-
through. I had to get out of the apartment.
That was your first time leaving the house in 5 days? Was to go
Yes!
to Raising Cane's? Nice.
Did you get extra toast?
Yes. It's what you do.
Let's see. I would probably go with Sushi Saturday.
Does it have to rhyme like that?
I
Is that a
don't know.
requirement?
Yes.
You know what? Fuck it. Yes, it does. Sushi Saturday.
I mean,
Although if
then,
you do,
then what
if
can
you do
do
that,
with Monday other than like Margarita Monday or something?
what's
like
wrong
that?
with Margarita Monday? You know what sucks though? Like if you say like Saturday becomes Sushi Saturday, then all of a sudden it becomes like a thing that people start doing. Then all of a sudden sushi restaurants are just filled with people, even more than they already are, and you have to wait like hours to get table. You know, fuck it. This is a terrible idea.
Nobody's in a
This is a
sushi
terrible
restaurant right
idea.
now.
I mean, that's right now, maybe right now. But wait, was this question specifically directed towards like during the quarantine?
No, just
no,
in general.
No.
See, okay, there we go.
Uh,
Lao Kung Pao says he's surprised I didn't say Mushroom Monday.
I mean, I guess.
Don't you dare.
What would
I
you
mean,
do?
I just did.
Do you think like a
mean-
fucking truffle pig is like your spirit animal?
I mean, they're low to the ground and a little hairy.
And they just fucking eat mushrooms right off the earth.
I'm about to walk out of this fucking room.
I think I'm gonna be fasting on Mondays from now on.
More mushrooms for me, baby.
Yeah, you have
What-
all
what,
my mushrooms.
All right, let me wrap things up with the 4-player minute, and then we'll,
Yeah,
we'll,
alright.
we'll go back to the what's it called?
Supporter spotlight.
Could you do
Why
like
not?
Munster cheese Mondays?
Monster
Sure, why not?
Mondays.
Fuck it.
Well, I can't think of
Um,
anything for Wednesday besides like watermelon Wednesday. Yeah, like what's a water? What's a Wednesday?
Water
that-
chestnut.
Whiskey Wednesday.
Ooh.
My
That's not really
thank
food.
you for the week goes to Nolan for letting me borrow his fancy rich people VR. I appreciate it.
It's literally like the cheapest VR out there,
Yeah,
Brad.
That's true.
But you have one, therefore he has
Yeah.
to make the joke.
And also for Green Toast for gifting me XCOM. He didn't have to do that, especially because Crispy had already purchased it. But I appreciate it. My hype for this week goes to a game called Horizon's Gate, which is, not a game that any of y'all are ever going to play. It makes Failsail look beautiful. But it looks really cool, and I got a code, and I can't wait to try it.
What's it called?
Horizon's Gate. My sweat is for XCOM, actually, believe it or not. And my maybe is for Gears Tactics. XCOM didn't get like fascinating reviews. I actually heard a couple of conversations that sort of compared the two a little bit to what Gears is doing and what the new XCOM is doing, and honestly, the new Gears is sounding a little more interesting. So that's sort of my anti-sweat. I guess my another
Cool.
hype would be Gears Tactics potentially. I'm kind of waiting for the review embargo to lift on that game to see the broader picture, but yeah, that's it for me.
Wow, that was the fastest 4-player minute you've ever done, Brad.
Well, that's
That's
because I write it down and I'm not coming up with it on the spot like you, Nick.
How dare you?
Bam. Anyways,
Just throwing out fire right before you have to leave.
Son of a
I'm gonna
bitch.
bounce. You
All
guys
right.
have a great night.
Thank
Enjoy
you for
the
being
rest
here,
of your
Brad.
podcast.
I'm
Okay.
sure we will. All 12 to 15 minutes of it. Have a good night, Brad.
Goodbye.
Bye. All right. So with that said, I want to vent for a second because I forgot. I totally should have been pulling this up while Brad was saying his goodbyes. But I have a supporter spotlight for the week. If I can find it, I believe it's Turbo Maw. Is that correct?
Okay.
All right. Let's see. Here we go. I have it up. Yes, Turbo Maw. His name is Robert, and he's from Sweden. He named the city. I can't pronounce it. Starts with an N. It looks like Norrköping, Sweden. I probably butchered the hell out of that. But let's see. I'm going to read off. Of course, this is as a reminder. If you're a supporter of us on Patreon at the $3 tier or higher, or if you're a subscriber on Twitch, we have a lovely little survey we send out to you guys. If you want to take a few minutes to answer our questionnaire, just a few general questions about yourself, your taste in games, things like that. And every week I'm going to pick someone random, read a few answers, or shine a light on some of the answers from a random community member every single week. So, Turvoma, Robert from Sweden. We ask, first of all, I always like to do top 5 games of all time because it's fun. Although I will say this, he did not leave much explanation. We're just going to have to kind of use our imaginations. But his number 5 game of all time, and he's cheating. This is a very Brad answer, I guess. The Football Manager series.
Okay.
What the?
What?
He goes into, so I'm gonna, as an aside, he left an answer because we also asked what you think is a very underrated game that you wish more people would play. He talks about the Football Manager series, so I'll read that in a second. Number 4 is State of Decay.
It's a pretty fucking good game.
It's a pretty damn good game. He specifies the first one, so looks like, yeah. Which I think is generally considered maybe to be the better of the two, I guess, maybe.
I think here maybe I think they've made a lot of adjustments and updates to the second game since it came out. So maybe the second one is a lot better. I just don't have the time to find that out for myself.
Yeah, I want to go back and try it again.
I want to try it for the first time. His number 3, and this is a game that we played for the Revival Club, although it's a game that I didn't finish and I would love to go back and play more of, is Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. Very cool game. That is one of those games that I never expected to resonate with me in any way, because it was just it's so, classic PC RPG, but man, it gets into nitty gritty. Like, the story is so fucking good, the setting is so cool. It's a little fucking borked as a game, but still overall very cool. Number 2, Monster Hunter World. Too bad Brad's not here. That'd probably make him happy, because Brad keeps getting pulled back into that game despite his best attempts. Also Brain Fluid in chat. Is Brain Fluid in chat? That's not Turbo Maw, I assume, but he's telling me that I didn't terribly botch the pronunciation of that city in Sweden.
I believe it's pronounced Norrköping.
Did you look that up?
When?
Nolan? That
I'm
sounds
Swedish.
It's very Swedish.
That can't be true. I'm not falling for your bullshit, Nolan. What? Google is Nolan Swedish?
Oh, my last name is Swedish.
It is, actually.
Oh my god.
Edstrom? You didn't
Number
know this?
1. Turbo Mod's number 1 game of all time. Dragon's Dogma: Dark Arisen. Another game.
That's a good number 1, man.
Another game that we played for the Revival Club that I am so glad I finally got around to playing. Finished it. I didn't get to spend hundreds of hours with it, but I spent a solid 40, 50 hours with it, and it was awesome. Still really, really hoping that game eventually gets
Their kind is weak to fire.
Oh my god. Anyways, so, and actually the answer to the question that he answered that was involving the Football Manager series is, what is your most cherished gaming memory? So I'm going to read this the way he wrote it. It's a bit strange, but you'll probably understand it by the time it's all said and done. So just stick with me. He says, I've got millions of stories, but when I'm trying to pick one, it's always these Football Manager stories. But they usually go something like this. You are managing a worthless team in a worthless league. All of a sudden, you find a player without a club on the market. 15-year-old Nick Henderson. You bring him into the club without having to pay either a transfer fee or wages, and that small boy, God damn it, makes goal after goal after goal during the whole season. Nick stays around for a few years until a major club finds him, and they are willing to pay millions of dollars to sign him to their club. And with that cash, it's now possible for your own club to renovate and rebuild the whole training area and resign everyone to a professional or re-sign everyone to a professional contract. About 20 years passes, and Nick Henderson has been the biggest star in the world, wanting to come back to the club to finish the last season of his career in the club he started in. That's why so many people are hooked on Football Manager games. That's weird.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with
but
that.
it's intense.
I think it's similar to like any kind of other like a simulation style game
Yeah.
where there's elements of chance, there's elements of actual like control over certain aspects of it, and so I can understand how people could get interested in it. It's just never been my cup of tea.
Yeah, and these are pretty. These games are pretty old. Like, are these just old PC games, or like I don't even.
No, it's
I
it's
think-
a
yeah.
ongoing series. It has never stopped.
It's
Yeah.
never
They-
stopped.
They release annual entries into Football Manager.
I don't remember when the
There's-
last one came out.
There's a whole world of gaming I'm just not.
The
familiar with.
latest release was Football Manager 2020. It's currently at a 9 out of 10 on Steam.
Holy,
From almost
fuck.
10,000 reviews. Yeah, they're good games.
Well, that's awesome.
If you enjoy that style of game, like they're good. I've just never been into it.
Well, cool. Well, thank you for using this as an opportunity to highlight the game, a game that we probably, honestly, probably would not mention otherwise. But that's the beauty of this. This is a good way to highlight some of those games. So I'll finish off, and we'll roll right into our 4-player minute. I'll read his 4-player minute, and of course, this is reflective of the time he wrote this. He answered this this questionnaire. He says his hype, Mountain Blade Warbands. Is it Mountain Blade Warbands 2? What is he said M and B. So I'm guessing M
Mountain
and B.
Blade Bannerlord.
Bannerlord. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So he put Warbands 2. Maybe it
Well,
has a different. Does it
that's
have a different
basically
title
what it
somewhere?
is, yeah.
Mountain Blade Bannerlord 2. We have been waiting for this game so damn long. The hype train can't be stopped now. And we talked about that on a recent show. And I'm sure he's probably already playing it. His sweat, World of Warcraft classic. Everyone and their mothers are returning back to WoW now. Even people that I haven't been talking to since Vanilla WoW are now contacting me about getting the old group back together. I'm just worried about Blizzard's response to all of this. When will they add microtransactions into the game? What will they bring to their players in the future, and how scummy will it be? I wonder when he answered. Oh, he submitted this back in. He submitted this back in September. So I wonder how that turned out.
This is a pre-COVID question.
This is this was answered
This is back when the world was at peace.
Oh my god! Imagine all the people.
Kind of.
Imagine all the people in quarantine that are suddenly like, well, I guess I should play WoW again. Oh my
I'm
god!
sure there's plenty of them.
Oh my god, there's so many. Let's see. His fuck you says, my fuck you goes to having a full-time job. It's also, I wonder if that's still the case during this quarantine. That also requires you to work overtime. He has no free time at all, and it's crushing me slowly. Well, I hope that has turned around for you recently as well. That sounds awful.
But not
So
turned around too harshly to where you don't
Yeah,
have to
I
work
hope
at
you
all.
still have a job. Let's just leave it at that. I hope you
Yeah.
still have a job. A lot of people are not that lucky. So, but I hope it's, like I said, it's been months since this was submitted. So hopefully it's turned around for you. And his thank you goes to the 4-player community that are active on Discord. I echo this sentiment entirely. It's so, I've said this many times in the past. I think Discord is probably one of the best things that's happened to our community in a long time. It's just a really great way to, great low maintenance way to keep in touch with everybody and talk about games when you can. I always have I'll be playing a game. And it could be anything, and I'll just be like, I run into a wall somewhere, or I just have a question about something, and my first instinct now, it used to be I'm going to Google something, or I'm going to jump on Twitter and put something out there in the world and just wait for someone to reply to it. But now I go straight to our Discord, and that is awesome. You can almost always find someone in there that's willing to talk to you or help you out with whatever you're looking for. So I echo that entirely. Thank you all to everyone who is very active in our Discord. It's great.
Definitely, and I think it's I like that it gives us a place to go, but also people a place to come to us to
Mm-hmm.
ask questions, clarifications. Shakuski, a
Mm-hmm.
community member who not too long ago joined our Discord, reached out to me and was asking me some questions about Dragon Quest Builders 2.
Mm-hmm.
Because like I had said I enjoyed the game, but it kind of ran like shit on Switch, and they're like, "Hey, I have $50 eShop card. Is it worth it to get it on Switch?" And I was like, I mean, yes and no. Like, I can't say it's not because I had a great time playing it, but
If you had other
hindsight,
options.
100% I would have gone PS4. And Shakuski ended up going PS4. So, I mean, I'm glad
And
everything worked
and
out.
that connection is because of Discord. It's great.
Yeah.
It's so great. So yes, thank you to everyone who's active. Thank you to everyone who, even if you're not like active every day, it's nice to know that there's people in there that can use it whenever they want to or whenever they need to, and it gives us a direct line of communication. Like we don't even really need email to like talk to people in our community anymore. It's just like you need to get in touch with us. Go in Discord. It's great.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you're watching in chat, there's the link. Anyways, that's it for the supporter spotlight this week. Thank you very much, Turbomon, for submitting. I'm gonna put together some new questions and probably update this survey. So if you're a supporter on Patreon and you haven't filled it out, or if you want to just go update your answers, you can always do that. Just go to the supporter spotlight channel in Discord. You should have access to it if you've linked your Patreon or Twitch account to Discord, and you're a subscriber. And there should be a pinned message in that channel that has the link to the form. It's just a Google form, so click on it and fill it out. If you've already submitted it, you should be able to update your answers as well. I'm gonna go in there, maybe add some new questions soon, so we can get some new submissions. But yeah, if you haven't done so, please go fill it out. We'd love to hear from you. But now, let's wrap up the show with the 4-player minute. I usually tell Brad to go first. He's already done it. So, Nolan, are you
I'm
ready? Do it.
always. All right, my 4-player minute starts now. My hype is for XCOM Chimera Squad. Comes out tomorrow. I am pretty excited to play it. Unfortunately, I'm still playing other games, but I am probably going to check it out just to kind of get a feel for it, see what if I like it. I loved every bit of XCOM I've played so far, so I'm definitely going to play this one. Excited, looking forward to it.
Cool.
My sweat is going to go to Shadow Moses. That's the name of my island in Animal Crossing. There's just so much more work Bernadette and I have to do to make it. I mean, we're only fucking 2 stars out of 5. We got so much left to do to make it a 5-star island. So plenty left to do. My thank you is going to go to Nishus. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but it's one of our community members in Discord who invited me to their island to sell my turnips. Now, because of that, I'm set for at least the foreseeable future. I'm sure at some point I will run out of bells, especially now that the fucking like art merchant is a thing. I had a different fuck you, but I can give this fuck you to Nintendo and Animal Crossing developers because today when I booted up the game, got a fucking a letter in the mailbox saying, "Hey, we're decreasing the interest price you earn at the Bank of Nook. Here's a fucking here's a gift as an apology, and it's
Oh,
a
I
fucking
heard about
rug in
that.
the shape of a bell bag." What the fuck?
But I
They're
thought that
like,
was the opposite. Like they were increasing the rates. Which you
no,
earn
they're
things.
reducing interest rates.
Oh fuck.
These motherfuckers are like, people earning too much money in this fucking made up world that like is fucking all digital. It's not like people are like making money off. I mean, some people are making money off the game, but I don't think
Elijah
they're
Wood.
doing it off of bells. They're doing it off a fucking item. Like, I don't know. I think it's just kind of fucking silly. They didn't say what the interest rates are switched to, but fuck them. But I also wanted to give another quick little fuck you to just like, I've been having a lot of issues with all of this. My fucking setup, my left monitor, for some reason, I don't know if it's my DisplayPort cable or what, it just won't like connect when I have it on DisplayPort. I've been having issues with like my hard drive, just like everything's kind of going a little fucky, and I want to do like a fresh install of Windows on my computer, but that's such a pain in the ass that I've just kind of been avoiding it. So
Understandable. Thank you, Nolan. Chris Davis.
Okay. I guess my first hype is for Desperados 3.
Oh yeah, that's June now, right?
At June 11th, they announced a release date, and God, it's giving me that vibe for Shadow Tactics that I need that fix now. I might just reinstall that and start playing through that campaign again. It's so good. And Desperados 3, like, I am so hyped for that game. That is going to be
It does
probably
look
one of the best
cool.
games of June. I've got a semi-hype as well as for XCOM Chimera Squad. I nearly bought it today. But now that people
$10, man. Is it still on sale?
$10.
Yeah.
$10 through May 1st, and then it goes up to 20.
I feel like that's probably safe to say that'll probably be a game we talk about on next week's show.
Yeah, it's supposed to launch tonight actually.
Yeah.
Correct.
So
In
yeah,
like an hour.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I haven't played an XCOM game in about 2 years, so and it's about time for them to start announcing a 3. So if they're gonna
It's
make
probably
that,
gonna tide people over.
I had a sweat and I completely forgot about it while I was talking.
That's why I wrote
I
it all
definitely have
down.
a fuck you though.
Okay.
My fuck you goes to Bethesda. This was kind of discussed, and it's not exactly clear as to what's going on. But Mick Gordon, the composer for Doom and Doom Eternal, as well
I meant
as
to
a
bring this up
bevy
earlier.
of really good soundtracks, he's reportedly saying that he's not wanting to come back for its next project. Because evidently he did not have full mix control on the soundtrack and how it was incorporated in the game.
He recorded everything and was not given final. I don't know if he wasn't involved in the mixing at all, but he was not given final approval, or he wasn't given the level of involvement he would have liked. He obviously wants to have full control over his final mixes for all of his music, and they did not do that, so he is not happy.
And evidently they did do that for the previous game, so
yeah.
So like,
I mean,
it
was probably very much part of his like original agreement. Like, I'll do it. I will be a part of this because if you let this happen. And
that being said, he has said that he would like to down the road sometime do his own mix of the Eternal soundtrack. So we may get that eventually.
Sweet.
What's available
Those
now
is an
id mix, and it's probably pretty good, but
it's fine.
Yeah.
That Doom 2016 soundtrack I think is better, but that's just me.
I mean, there's some really fucking good bangers in 2016, but there's also some really fucking good bangers in Eternal. So I don't know. I'm 50-50 on that.
Did he say bangers?
Bangers, yes.
Just
as
kidding.
In head bangers.
I'm fully
For the people
aware.
at home that did not know what that meant.
This one slaps.
Slapping the banger.
Slapping them bangers. I think we found the title for the episode.
Did you remember what your sweat was? No, by the way, this episode is definitely called the Truffle Pig Show.
The Truffle Pig Show.
I was also thinking about calling it the Elijah Wood Show, but I was like, I don't want to that's someone's name. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'll stick with Truffle Pig.
Nah, I'm good. I forgot it. You can go.
All right. Okay, fine. My 4-player minute starts now. My hype this week is for more Final Fantasy VII. Like I said, I'm loving it to death. Mostly getting into it because I'm just blown away by the way the characters have been brought to life. Like I always thought Cloud would be annoying. You know what I mean? I always thought I'd be like totally lame, but no, he's great. He's quiet, but he's great. And Tifa and Aerith are both fantastic. I'm crushing on everybody. Jesse's thirsty, and I love it. This whole thing is so good. It's so fucking good. I can't wait to see more of it. My sweat goes to kind of VR in general. I keep telling myself that I'm going to dedicate a few hours every weekend to playing something in VR because I need to spend more time with Asgard's Wrath because that's the one I was going to bounce right back to after I finished Half-Life. But I haven't put the headset back on since I finished Half-Life. So I'm hoping this weekend I can change that, maybe on Sunday, play some VR. But I got to find the time, or I got to find the motivation to do it. My thank you goes to, I mentioned this last week and at the beginning of the show about doing this stream for Days Gone week, but more specifically, I was going to thank the person and the website who invited me to be a part of it, the brokenroad.blog, obviously dedicated to Days Gone, but they invited me to be a part of it because I've been a very vocal supporter of Days Gone since it came out. Thank you to Chris Davis for putting together the video for me so quickly as well. It's had a pretty good reception. I've had a lot of great feedback on it on on Twitter and in the Broken Roads Discord as well, and had quite a few developers from the game actually reach out to me and say that they loved the video as well. So that is always a really great feeling. So I'm actually getting very excited to do my stream on Saturday. It's going to be all day, noon until I can't keep my eyes open any longer. We'll be doing a lot of New Game Plus stuff, giving away copies of the game. I got so many copies of the game. Look at this. Look at this. Look at all that Days Gone. So many.
Can I have a copy?
No. It's on sale right now though for $20.
I mean,
so
sure,
but
nothing for the guy that made you that
I
fantastic video.
Sure, I'll get you a copy of Days Gone. Will you play it?
Not until
Will
the
you
PS5
play it?
comes out.
Oh shit. That's better than nothing. Take Brad's copy.
I'll trade you a
Anyways.
copy of the Division 2 for
I might take you up on that. But anyways, yeah, thank you everybody involved with that. It's there's been my feed has been very full of Days Gone stuff for the past few days, but it's been cool and very much looking forward to the stream. And my fuck you this week, I don't like to get political on the shows, but man, fuck these protesters. Fuck these people. You know who I'm talking about. You know the ones. The fucking people out there throwing a tantrum because they can't leave their house to go get their hair done, or
Nick, they need to get a haircut.
oh my god, think
Didn't know-
about someone other than yourself for
Didn't know
5
so many
seconds.
Americans were living haircut to haircut.
These
Yeah.
I got a haircut today. I let
mean,
Robin cut my hair, but my hair is
I
very,
cut-
very
I cut
simple.
my own hair.
My
I
haircut's
just wait like
very,
4 or
very
5
simple.
months between haircuts. So
I was telling Robin, I was like, if you want, because she put the clippers on, she's getting ready. She was like, I was like, do you check the clipper number? She's like, yeah, it's good. And I was like, well, get the you could shave my head right now. It probably wouldn't fucking matter because I don't think I'll be going back to work before it grows back in. Although I'd be bald on the podcast, so that'd be weird. But fuck it. It's inconvenience really sucks. I'm really getting sick of this quarantine myself, but goddamn, people, think of someone other than yourself. Jesus Christ. I'm ready for this to be over just as much as the next person, but fuck those people. But anyways, thank you guys so much for listening. That's our show. If you have not yet, please look us up on Patreon at patreon.com/4Player. Or if you, like I said before, discord.gg/4Player. We'd love to have you there. Tune in next week. Tune in tomorrow night. I think Brad's streaming. I'm not sure what he's going to stream yet, and then I'll be doing my all-day stream on Saturday. And then tune in next week for another show. We'll be talking about XCOM, I would imagine, among other things. So it should be fun. But in the meantime, be safe. Wash your hands. Don't leave your house unless you have to. All that shit. But yeah, anyways, good night. We'll see you guys next time.
Night.